Okay. Hold your mouth just the right way, okay?
And smile.
From Studio A in Texas, USA, it's the award-winning All Things Automotive Car Talk Show in Wheel Time. Just ahead, a review of our new car of the week, the 2020 Ford F-350 Bigaboy. That's not officially in the title, but that's the way I put it. A rundown of cruise-ins that you might be interested in this week in automotive history and the stories making automotive news headlines. That and more just ahead on today's In Wheel Time Car Show, the 3-hour version for Saturday, December 19th, 2020. Howdy, along with Mike, Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeffrey Zekin just off camera. We're going to fix that during the show. I'm Don Armstrong. So glad that you could join us today. It's a rainy day here in the Houston, Texas area, and let me just tell you that we tried very hard to be remote today at the Tailpipes and Tacos event that has been scheduled for months.
Yes.
And it didn't happen. Stan had to cancel because of the inclement weather. It was forecast to be bad all week long, and rain chances kept going up for this day. And even yesterday, they raised the rain chances even more. And the real bad weather is supposed to bad weather. A couple thunderstorms later on today, but at any rate, it's raining now. So I thought that we'd start off the show by talking about an event that I went to back in when I was hauling around the 77 Corvette, and it was in Oklahoma City, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay. Really? I lived there for 10 years.
It was the Oklahoma Corvette Expo, and it was held at the Oklahoma City Convention Center. Well, right next door to the convention center was a great big, multi-story Holodog Inn. Okay? So we knew that things were...
Right there on May Avenue and Northwest Freeway. I know exactly where it is. Have it. They used to have the Shelby National Show there.
What's the zip code?
I have no idea.
Phone number?
70-something.
Just messing with you, Conrad.
It's okay. He needs to be messed with. Anyway, so we had this Corvette Expo going to take place. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that it was in January. Perfect time.
In Oklahoma?
Great time.
What a horrible time to have a car show.
Thank you. So I had a friend that had a car hauler.
Open or closed?
Open.
And you're bringing a show car on an open trailer.
In January in Oklahoma.
So
With this picture.
heading to Oklahoma.
Pulling it with a Renault Dauphine.
No, it was a 1-ton bobtail truck that would accommodate
Dually?
3 cars on this long trailer.
On a hauler, huh?
And I thought, well, I didn't have the money at the time to rent an enclosed car trailer. There weren't too many of them around at that time. So I thought, well, I'll hitch a ride with him. Great, come on, let's put it on the car. Put it on the hauler. Put it on the hauler. We get to about Dallas, and it starts raining. And it's raining and raining and raining and mud and everything else.
And you had to stop to buy more Q-tips to clean your car.
Pretty much. We got to Oklahoma City. It's as if the car had never been messed with since it was brand new.
Oh, yeah.
It was horrible.
But that's just the exterior. I mean, the internal components of the engine, they're all clean, right?
The interior, the windows were rolled up. It was fine.
Yeah.
But when you have a show car and you have the underside pinstriped that you normally put mirrors on it so people can look underneath there, and there's mud and dirt and rain and everything else underneath that, you can just imagine the cleaning project that started immediately when we got indoors at the convention center. And it went on for over 24 hours until the show started. Can you imagine? I was bleary.
No, you've seen my car at the show. I don't even open the trunk.
And we know why.
But we do know why. It has nothing to do with the weather.
But being in Oklahoma, didn't they have like those big steer horns on the front of a lot of cars?
No, they don't have longhorns in Oklahoma.
No.
This is Oklahoma, horns down.
Oh.
Sorry. You know they're playing today. Oklahoma and
don't care.
Okay. In Iowa State for the Big 12 championship, and UT is not.
Oh boy. Oh
And
boy.
I believe tonight is the big game between Florida and Alabama.
Yeah, the runner-ups are playing tonight. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think OU is going to go to the national championship.
So at any rate, I thought that I would just continue the story if that's okay.
Please
so
do.
If you have a car that you were going to, cruise in with, it could be something with, leather flooring in it. Greg Ender's truck.
Yeah, his truck, yeah. But he also had the leather on the dash and the headliner, and
But that
got to take your shoes off to get into that thing.
And I know that a lot of cruisers aren't so anal and uptight about that sort of thing.
Oh, I think a lot of them are.
But I would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought, if there's a chance of rain, I'm a cruiser. I ain't going.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, why? You mean why we cancel, or why they cancel tailpipes?
Yeah,
today?
tailpipes,
Well, nobody wants to take their car out in that, much less drive it around in it, because it's just not just the fact of it's that much more cleanup. It's the fact that there's stupid people on the road.
Yeah.
And
Much
the
more
wetter
likely
and the wetter it gets, the stupider they are.
slide to a red
seriously.
light or just can't see you because of all the rain and stuff. No.
Yeah, I just saw pictures of somebody's 70 Chevelle, beautiful blue Chevelle, white stripes, and somebody just hauled off and wrecked them last weekend.
But you can still go to Lupe Tortillas and have a lunch or a dinner. It doesn't have to necessarily be
An excellent lunch
Yes,
or dinner.
Right.
So go out and have something to eat at Stan's.
And so the next month event is January the 16th. You'll hear some spots. I've got those ready to go. So that'll be January the 16th is the next Tailpipes and Tacos. And we're going to have a guest on later today, on today's show, that's going to talk about cruise-ins, car shows, that sort of thing. Yeah, he does this, and he's got a website that anybody can go to. And
He's got the best resource in the city of Houston for what events are where, and he lists anywhere from 60 to 100, 110 automotive-based events in the city and surrounding area. I mean, he posts up stuff about Beaumont. He'll post up stuff about Victoria, but it's generally
Stuff you can get to within a day.
it's generally Houston market stuff.
one is that show that's in Bryan College Station. I went to it last year for the first time. It's been going on for years, and hundreds of cars. It's a cruise-in.
Lucky's Cruise-In.
Yeah, that's it, Lucky's.
Lucky's Rod Run, excuse me.
Yeah. And we started off at dark 30 in the morning and caravanned up there with Michael Wooding.
Right.
In his, I think it was his 56 Oldsmobile.
No, a 56 Pontiac.
Pontiac.
Yeah, Pontiac. Yeah.
Pontiac two-door wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike's a Pontiac guy, isn't he? More of a Pontiac guy?
Well, because of that, he is. I don't know that he has any real brand loyalty to anything.
Not like you're the Olds guy.
I am a fanatical Oldsmobile person.
Well, at any rate, so
Yeah, Lucky's Rod Run.
was it,
And
is it
actually, I haven't-
January or February?
January. Yeah, it might have been February.
I don't know. It was
Yeah.
cold.
But that's been going on for
Decades.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd never heard about it, of course.
heck of a good show.
It is.
You know.
It's a great show.
Well, he can tell you about it when he comes on. The guest.
The car show guy
okay,
that
Joseph,
lists
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at any rate, I think that I think I'm going to try to make that. Because if
Again
I'm not
this year?
mistaken, I think it's on a Sunday. It has to be because I
You wouldn't have went
I
because
wouldn't have
you're
gone
here.
on Saturday.
Right.
Right. So I think I'm going to try to make that in the Corvette if the weather cooperates. But I'll tell you what, last year it was cold in the morning when it got there. And dark too. And all of the parking lots were already full. Sun hadn't even come up yet.
Yeah, you pretty much have to almost reserve a space to park.
Yeah. And it's huge, and it goes for several blocks in this particular area. Is
The
it Brian?
Chicken Oil Company.
At the Chicken Oil. Well, that's the main one.
Right.
And then there are other parking lots around the area. But there's got to be, a couple hundred cars at least that cruise in from all over the state of Texas.
Yeah, last year was January 12th.
Okay.
And it is off of College and trying to look at the crossroad here, south of University.
Okay. So is it College Station?
Yeah, it's College Station.
Yeah.
But they have, and they've got a real good
You
following.
didn't go
there.
with me last
No, I
year.
didn't. I
You
don't-
going to go this year?
Yeah.
Did you get the ignition
I haven't
switch
got the
fixed?
ignition switch done yet.
What?
Because the car's stuck at home.
That's true. Where are you going to go? Well, you could have went to Tailpipes and Tacos today if I had
No, I need to pull a steering wheel off and
Oh.
and jack with it.
Are you going to do it?
Yeah.
Are you going to change? You can change that.
Yeah, it depends on is it the ignition switch or the ignition key. I think
the
it
key
might be the
mechanism.
switch. I think it might. The feel of it feels like it's down inside the switch. The key rotates and moves a rod up and down to do everything on the switch, and it feels.
Show
like
me how that works again. Show me.
it rotates like this, and it moves a rod up and down. Gosh, you are.
Start
Info
so early in the
InWheelTime.com.
So if you're wondering where our first guest is this morning, well, we don't
are-
have one. We
We
are
are
the
the
guest.
first.
We
guest.
are him.
Nice
We are
search,
it.
fellas.
So you also ended up driving back after you spent all that time cleaning that car in Oklahoma. You drove back from Oklahoma City, and it was just as dirty when you got back.
Oh no, I got one better than that. The last day of the show, it snowed. So we packed up that Sunday night, had to pull it out into the parking lot with snow that deep in the parking lot to make the trip back the next day.
Oh gosh.
Oh, it was just an absolute nightmare.
So Joseph just posted on Facebook his Lucky's Rod Run is January 10th this year, but the event is listed as pending due to COVID restrictions.
What?
Thanks,
It's
Joseph.
an outdoor event. What's restricted about outdoors?
I have absolutely no idea.
it could be
Over
this-
where I'm at in Jefferson County, zero zip. I mean, they're
All
on,
the car shows are shut down over there?
Yes, and they're on TV, the news channel, local news.
You have that?
They have some. They brought somebody in, but what he did?
They brought somebody
Is that
in to
right?
do
They're
the
on.
news?
No, but they were on the
Do
other
they
day.
actually
and
have?
they
Do you actually have a
said-
TV station?
Yeah, it's
in
right next
Beaumont?
to the farm
They have
report
3
in the
TV
feed store.
stations in Beaumont.
Actually,
You know,
we do,
you can
yeah.
aspire
As a matter of fact,
to
we
go to
actually have
work for
4.
one of them.
We have 4.
They don't have a helicopter. They have a
Whirlybird.
smart car.
Well, I
you
think that
drive
might-
around town in a smart car and give the traffic.
They got
report.
3 stations in Fox.
They
so-
got an RC helicopter.
but they
They've got 3 stations and Fox.
Yeah.
So the Fox station is not a station.
I'm just saying. So they were on the other day, the local CBS channel, and they had the reporter that was out there, and they were talking about now in Jefferson County, what they want you to do is if you're at an event and people aren't wearing their mask, they want you
Turn
to
'em
call
in.
the cops.
Okay, well, that's fine. So wear the mask if that's what it takes. But you can't have car. Wait a minute. So you go and park on a street downtown Houston. Oh, you can't do that without a mask. Really?
Ask Lena.
Ask Lena Hidalgo, the county judge. What a joke that is. Are you
What a
kidding me?
complete joke that is. Lena the Destroyer.
Well, at any rate, I'd also like to thank, and Jeff mentioned it a little while ago, how nice it is for all of us to be dressed the same because Mike brought Christmas shirts for all
Oh,
of us.
boy. Ho, ho, ho.
Nice little in-wheel time logo shirts.
Wait. Where's the other one?
And, oh, yeah, we have to.
Yeah. Oh, let me put mine on. This is one of these is mine.
Please.
Okay, so let me show you what this looks like.
Oh, gosh, I have to
I
take
know,
my
hold on.
headset off. Probably I'll just take one headset off at a time.
I'll let you guys handle it. I got something to do here.
And then put on our masks.
Uh-oh.
And hopefully you can understand it. So does this make us legal? Well, we know Don's legal because he's 70 years old today.
17. I don't want to put the headset on because I'll ruin the effect.
Yeah, because it'll
You're
push
right.
your ears
What do you
in.
think about this?
Oh, that's lovely.
I think you're just cute as a button.
The cute as a button.
Can you see my ears?
I think they make extensions
see
for
it.
these things now. We may have to get some because they're a little small.
They were trying to save on the claw.
Got some duct tape and tape his ears back.
Well, we got a staple gun. We can just staple the mask on.
Yeah, they're a little bit tight for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna need. Let's see if
And
I
the
can find
sticker
some of
that
those
they put on the
extensions.
front of it kind of is right over your mouth and nose, so it kind of keeps you from breathing.
But they asked where we wanted it, and I told them in the center.
He said
because I
with his-
didn't
with
like
his-
it on the side.
Where the
Some
sun
of-
don't shine.
Yeah, here, put it where the sun don't shine. We're going to come up with some stick-on tattoos later on,
you go.
and it will be in the In-Wheel Time merch display.
Oh yeah. I like that.
We're talking about doing an in-wheel time merchandise page on our Facebook page. So
And we know that as soon as it goes up there, we're going to sell out of everything immediately.
Bumper stickers that say "Need more Jeff."
Bumper stickers.
Need more Jeff.
Need more Jeff bumper stickers. There you go.
I like it. Mm-hmm.
Somebody keeps posting that on our Facebook
know,
page.
isn't
I
that
think it's
great?
you.
Yeah, no, I think it's
Is it you, Jeff?
there is such a
We
Busted.
want more Jeff. So at any rate, we've got.
So that means Lucky's Rod Run's not that far away. If it's
No.
going to be January 10th,
Well,
I need to get a.
still pending.
Is
so.
that really true?
Yeah, that's,
That is a
I
Sunday,
would
though.
trust.
That would be a
I would
Sunday.
totally trust Joseph in being correct.
Okay. January the 10th. Well, let me
Well,
go
it
ahead
means
while
I
I'm,
need to get-
while
I
I'm
need to
in
get-
there.
I need to get my car fixed.
Yeah.
And I have no fear in driving at distances. Heck, I drove it all the way to Bastrop and back. You know, I don't worry much about driving.
What
it.
was in
So
Bastrop?
That was when I went to the Veterans Day thing with
yeah.
Bill Zelag.
Yeah.
You said you don't open your trunk. What is in your trunk?
Everything.
Everything.
Literally.
I mean,
And he keeps using his wife as an excuse. The reason it's all in there because he
His
doesn't
wife
want,
is in the trunk?
because he doesn't want it. He doesn't want his wife to know.
the
Oh,
part,
what's in the
some
trunk?
of the parts I've been buying.
Oh,
which is a total crock. Because
There's a bunch of junk in there. There's
Yeah,
nothing
because
to do
if
with
you
it.
put the parts on the car, they wouldn't need to be hidden.
it's a total crock.
you can hide Christmas presents in there.
Do you,
Oh, my
do you
God.
not think his wife looks at the checking account and go, "Oh, look, there's a $500 charge for some sort of sticker that he's got to put on his
PayPal.
Oldsmobile"?
I use PayPal. She really doesn't see it either.
Well, she will now.
Yeah, it's right. Well, she's not watching actually, and she's at work today.
Okay.
She's a healthcare professional, is
Okay.
a physical therapist.
So does that mean that she's going to get her COVID shot
I was
before
just about to
everybody
ask
else?
that.
She said she's not going to take a COVID shot until maybe about a year later.
Oh wow.
She just wants to let.
I thought they were required.
Nope, they can't require
Not
it
yet.
by law. By law, they're not allowed to require it by law, but that doesn't mean they're going to abide by the law. But,
Well, so they say you got to have one to get on an airplane, or you got to have one to get on.
or document. Well, the funny thing is that she was required to get a flu shot.
Right.
Every year was, and then last year she got the flu shot and then got the flu.
Well, they say that happens, and I get a flu shot. No, that is fine.
You just like getting stuck with needles.
do. She likes getting stuck. Well, shall we do a car review?
Well,
I think we
let's
should.
do something kind of related to the show. George says you look like Ross Perot today.
Ross Perot.
He wishes he had Ross.
Is Ross
Perot's
Perot
on-
still alive?
No,
No, he passed.
maybe that's
number
what he's
of
trying to
years ago.
refer to.
Yeah.
Thanks, George.
I do have one foot in the grave, don't I? Thank you, George. By the way, thanks again for that wonderful lunch that we shared
That was
last
awesome.
week from
That was-
Perini Ranch.
yeah,
that,
very awesome.
that cut of meat.
That
just-
was spectacular.
It was spectacular.
And we're willing to take those types of gifts from other people. Just send a note to info@inwheeltime.com.
Yeah, let us know that when it's coming, so we won't have any porch pirates out front. Tell the next door
No,
neighbor to
no,
check.
no.
George, that was spectacular. That the meat was super tender,
It was
perfectly
awesome.
cooked.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that was real good.
Good. Okay. So you got some notification there on your
Yeah, it says Amazon showed up or whatever. I
his
don't know.
Amazon.
He's
All
Christmas
right.
shopping.
So we're going to attempt to have a little car review here, and it's actually not a car review; it's a truck review, and I'm talking about a great big truck.
F-350.
oh my.
It is an F-350, a 2020 Ford F-350, which is basically a 1-ton. For those that don't know.
So basically, it is.
Available trim levels are the XL, the XLT, the Lariat, the King Ranch, the Platinum, and the Limited. The reviewed trim level is the single rear wheel, 4x4, crew, Tremor, King Ranch. Tremor is a new trim level.
Tremor.
Tremor, T-R-E-M-O-R.
Oh, Tremor, like the movie with.
Well, you New Yorkers would pronounce it Tremor.
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 I thought you were like trimmer, like the guys in Coming to Do My Bushes. Trimmers.
No, not a trimmer. No, it's not that. What size class? Well, it's ginormous 1-ton truck.
Yes.
How many passengers? 5. Exterior changes from last model year, really none, but this Tremor model is all new for 2020. Exterior features include an all-chrome front end. Everything is BIG. Sleek, straight slab sides. Ford does change grills depending on the certain trim packages.
Levels, right.
Yeah. Big aluminum King Ranch placard across the tailgate. And by the way, wheels as well change with the trim levels. And some of the trim levels actually have wheel choices. So pick a trim level that you like the wheels. There you go. For the most part, the F-350 looks similar to the 250, which also looks similar to the 150. But everything is bigger on this particular one. The trimmer package is a notch above the FX4. It is an off-road package. And I wanted to remind you, please be cautious about buying a dually. Chances are you may not need dual rear wheels.
Unless you have a specific need for them.
Well, if you even have a big trailer that you're towing behind you, check to make sure that you must have a dually, because you will knock the fenders off of it. I guarantee it at one point or another.
Or scratch a wheel or something.
Oh, it ain't that. It's those fenders. Because those fenders with a dually, they stick out a long way.
But if you're planning,
I'd cut your mic off because you were fiddling with your microphone that I could hear.
But if you're going to be towing 30,000 pounds, the dually's almost required. 30,000 pounds on a fifth wheel.
Yeah, well,
the dually's pretty much required. So if you're dragging 4 horses.
Well, not only that, but I mean, the other thing is with these trucks, all trucks, be sure and do your homework. Unless you just want a truck and you want to drive it back and forth to work and maybe haul a load of lumber or something like that to the house. If you're actually going to use the truck for what it's meant for, and that's towing and hauling, you'll want to drill down. You'll want to get the correct rear axle ratio, the correct transmission, whether you want a manual or an automatic transmission. There are so many options available on trucks.
To customize it for
your
need
correct.
To tow.
Correct.
So, the person who's towing a couple of skidoos or a ATV in the back, they're not going to need the same content that somebody's towing 5 horses in a 30-foot fifth wheel trailer.
Correct. Interior highlights. It is really a great. It's a man cave inside this thing.
There's a lot of buttons.
Man cave dash with 4 big vents, big center stack. It's got the updated Sync 3 infotainment system, by the way, that works great. It's easy to use, and it has everything that you need right there at your fingertips.
Yeah, I really like the Sync. That's pretty well integrated system.
Thick, comfortable King Ranch logoed upholstery. I think I kind of said it all in one.
But when you look at a King Ranch, you can see why the leather is different in a King Ranch than it is in the others.
Gobs of rear seat room. I know that may not really come across as, what does that mean, gobs? Gobs of rear seat room.
It means that you could lay down back there on the seat or on the floor.
Anything you want to. I mean, you could have.
Depends on how much you were drinking. That's why you're in the back.
Yeah, but either way, there's room is the point. You can fall in there pretty easy.
Jeff, did you want to go to the engine or something?
I'm having a little just going a little too fast.
He's trying to keep up with us.
Well, it's not
or move us
reacting
along.
to a touch, so I think it's cold.
What I liked about the interior, it is a living room on wheels.
That makes sense.
6.7-liter diesel engine. So there's 2 engines available. There's a great big gasoline V8 that actually has more horsepower and not as much torque, but it has more horsepower than the diesel. But that's not what you buy a diesel for.
Right.
Horsepower in this diesel was 475.
And the torque
is
was?
1,050.
Wow.
10-speed automatic transmission. Tow rating, drum roll please, 18,000 pounds on the tow. Haul rating is 3,140, which is actually less than the gasoline motor.
Really? Is it really?
It's crazy.
Well, that's probably because as they total that weight together, the vehicle total
Oh, yeah,
weight can
yeah.
only reach a certain number, and the diesel's so much heavier than the gas
That's
engine.
Again, this is why I say when you buy one, you
Know what you
need
need.
to know exactly what you're going to use it for. This is not a vehicle that you just go casually and say, "Oh, I like it because it's a great big
It's
trimmer."
purty.
It's purty, yeah. Because the amount of money you're going to pay for this thing, it's not one of those kind of vehicles. Miles per gallon, well, the factory is not required to give one, nor did they.
Not on the
Not on a one-ton.
Not on the heavy duties.
But
Oh,
I
wow.
got 18.1 miles per gallon over 213.3 miles.
Well, I'm not surprised with the diesel and the 10-speed that you got that kind of economy.
What I liked about it, the torque. It's going to pin you to the seat, especially with no load. What could use improvement? What? How do you improve on all this? Ride and handling. Not as rough riding as you would think. What I liked about it, the trimmer package adds a 2-inch front lift, a shorter air dam, 35-inch all-terrain tires,
Really?
a retuned suspension, upgraded shocks, locking differential, rock crawling mode, and more.
Oh, wow.
So it is designed to do a little bit of off-roading. It's not something to tow four-horse trailer.
The only thing that you'd really have to worry about is going over some boulder and high center it or something.
Yeah, but doggone. I mean, that thing's got to have.
And you know that they've got all of the skid plates and all that other stuff. It's either on this or they've got them available.
But you didn't do any of that with it.
No.
Well, you do a little bit of rock crawling driving Houston roads because
Well, not me, because I'm strictly a freeway guy, and I certainly don't have anything to tow in the category that you would tow something with like this. Okay, so pricing. You ready? Base trim price on the 1-ton is $62,550. Price is tested. $87,180.
$25,000 premium.
got a few options on it.
Well, you got to think the diesel. I'm not real sure how much is the diesel by itself. The diesel by itself is going to be
Well,
$5,000.
let's just take a look about that.
thinking
The
4.
6.7 liter Power Stroke diesel is $10,495 option. That's a $10,000 option right there. Any other questions?
The automatic probably is.
Well, the stuff that goes along with
The trimmer off-road package is a $4,000 option. The King Ranch package is a $3,350 option.
Oh, well, yeah. But I'll be honest with you, the King Ranch or Platinum, they're always worth it because they just upgrade the interior so much in those packages.
I really do like it. But if you want to just get in a 1-ton, they got
XLT.
a stripper model that is $35,550. But it's a stripper.
Plus $10,000 for the diesel.
And this is not the diesel, obviously. And again, I say to you,
Know what you
are
need.
we keeping you up?
Yes.
Was it too early for you this morning?
Yes.
All of you about because you stayed up late last night drinking. Didn't you?
No, I stayed up late, but I wasn't drinking. I should have been drinking, and then at least have
you
an
would have
excuse
slept.
to yawn.
Okay. So, competitors. Chevy Silverado 1-ton, $35,300. GMC 1-ton, $36,800. Ram, $35,345. Those are all
in the same price range,
but
basically.
Let me know if you can find a stripper model of a 1-ton.
You
Or
probably
a dealer.
can. It's going to be at the dealer, and it's going to be in the back, and it's going to be all white.
Yep.
Because all the dealers carry what I call the white fleet or the commercial fleet.
Right.
And that's generally where you find those vehicles. So when you go to the dealership and you want the uber cheap one, they'll sell it to you, but you're going to get the salesman fired because that's the ad car.
That's exactly.
We use that to advertise.
Oh my God, that's like the one that sat on the Richardson Chevrolet back lot, and it was a 4-door Biscayne, white with a green interior.
Biscayne. Which was below the Bel Air, which was below the Impala.
Correct.
And you're so old, they didn't have the Caprice back then.
No.
and if you take that to Mecum today, it's probably $70,000.
I doubt it because this had it had a small block V8 in it, and I guess a 327 would have been the small block at the time. This would have been 6970.
Yeah.
It sat on the lot in the back by itself. Nobody ever messed with it except Every once in a while, we'd have to rearrange the back lot where all the new cars were.
And you guys would go burn the tires off.
Nope.
Or jump it.
Nope. The battery was always dead.
Yeah.
Always dead. We always had to replace the battery in the Biscayne.
But that was the ad car. Come buy a 4-door Chevy.
They couldn't give that car away. It was
they didn't
so
really want to.
with
ugly.
the green interior.
They wound up doing a dealer trade.
Oh, yeah. Dump it on somebody else.
After it sat there for a year with 15 battery changes, most of them made by me. So glad to see that car go.
Well, this is battery changing season. When I worked for General Motors, we did a few audits from time to time.
As a matter of fact, I tell you what, let's
Hold
save
that story.
Hold that story, because let's talk about that. Because I had to help my daughter with a battery issue last week. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back right after this quick break. So stay with us.
Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's premier cruise-in, and you're invited to join in. Whether you're a cruiser or spectator, Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and mingle with Houston's fun car people. Mark your calendar for Saturday, January 16th for Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupe Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free, and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods all at one location. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in a friends and family event. The Lupe Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Lupe founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, January 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupe's in Katy. The In Real Time Car Show will be there too. Get your ride ready, and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise in, January 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupe's in Katy, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild to wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com.
Hello, everybody. This is the award-winning Car Talk Show, In Wheel Time, your weekly go-to all things automotive place, along with Mike Out of This World, Mars.
Howdy,
King
Mom.
Konrad DeLong. Jeffrey Zekin is right over there. Don Armstrong here. Glad that you could join us on this Saturday. We really appreciate it. We were talking about batteries, and that this is the time of year that batteries seem to go on the fritz.
Well, it's somewhat because it's cold, but when I was doing warranty audits with GM, it's because it's deer season. And they'd figure out a reason to replace all these batteries and all these Oldsmobiles through the years because they had a... because everybody needed it.
Oh, my God.
Oh, we have a surprise guest today.
Dun, dun,
Hi,
dun.
George.
George.
Hello, George.
George, we
George.
see you, but you can't hear us, apparently. Turn your volume up, George.
Hey, guys.
There you
There we
go.
go.
Uh-oh. There he is. Is it George
I still
Skelton?
can't hear you,
Well,
Mike.
we can hear you just fine. Well, let's go back to George after we get our...
guys.
There we go. Uh-oh. There he is.
I got
Is it George
I still
Skelton?
can't hear you, Mike.
Okay, it's all delayed and everything. That ain't gonna work.
All
So
right.
we'll let you guys work on all of that. I can't believe that we got George on, but at any rate, that's a nice treat. Anyway, we're talking about batteries,
So, when the cold weather comes, it stresses the battery. And then, through the summer and all the humidity and stuff in Houston, one of the issues is always the corrosion on top of a battery. And all of that makes the battery not charge properly. And it, kind of stresses not only the battery life, it stresses the alternator and the charger as well. So
I have so many questions about that. Do they still require the felt pad before you connect it with the connector? And also, is dielectric grease an option for that?
We always recommend that you put an anti-corrosion pad underneath a battery.
Which is that little felt thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't come from the factory like that.
No.
And then, spray.
Well, where do you buy something like that?
Your auto parts store.
We sell them at BG.
Those little felt
little
things?
felt pads. You get one in. It's treated. A good one is going to be treated with some kind of a chemical to fight the acid, the acid vapors that actually come out of the battery. The underhood temperatures change so much. The plastic expands and contracts at a different rate than the lead does. So you get these little whispers of battery acid that come out, and then that and the moisture and the dust and the dirt.
Whisper of battery acid? Oh, my God. Just put a little bit back here, a little bit back here.
And that's what causes that corrosion, that white, crusty substance that happens on your battery terminals. And that fuzz on your battery terminal is really very bad. You really need to get it corrected pretty quick.
Can you clean that with Coca-Cola? Because that was the old wives' tale. Does it still work?
Coke or Pepsi, people have used that, and the reason for that is because Coke and Pepsi are very alkaline. So when you mix an alkaline and an acid together, the mixture byproduct is a water and a salt of some kind. So yeah, that's
my dad always taught me get the baking soda out and mix up some water.
Baking soda is also alkaline. So when you mix the two of those together, it neutralizes the acid, it neutralizes the alkaline, and what's left is water and salt. So yeah, but you gotta. It's not just what's on the outside. On the post itself and the way the terminal clamps on the post, generally you get corrosion between the post and the terminal.
Correct.
And it's that corrosion between the post and the terminal that's somewhat damaging to the car.
And they make a cleaning tool that's basically a little
wire brush.
Round.
It's a wire brush on one end and then a round thing that you on the post, and it works great.
Works great.
Dad used to take a pocket knife and just kind of whittle out the.
Well, yeah, and you would see sometimes you'd call the wrecker to come get you because your battery was dead, and the wrecker driver would get out there, he'd pop your hood, and he'd look at that science project growing on your battery terminals, and he'd go grab a pair of channel lock pliers and just twist it a little bit, break all that corrosion off, and your car would start and run.
Yeah. And the other thing is that if you see all of that ugly corrosion on there, chances are the vapors from all of that have gone down the side of the battery right to where the battery tray is. And if you ever lift the battery out of it, the tray's all rotten.
Rusted out.
Yep.
And that's generally more because you have a little bit of an acid leak. The acid leak is very damaging, and on your Corvette, the acid leak can be real damaging because remember when we were looking to fix your AC system, when James Bragg was chasing the AC system, when you looked underneath the battery, there are these big, huge wire connectors, 224 terminal connectors that pass under there. So when they would fill up with battery acid, it would be extremely expensive to repair. We good to go? We're good to go. So let's go back to our buddy and friend in Temple, Texas, correct?
Correct.
Well, I'm glad you got it all worked out, George. It's good to see you racing. You got your racing shirt on. You got your in-wheel
BB&T NASCAR stuff on just for you, Don. You know, I used to work for BB&T Bank, which is better known as Bass Boat and Trailer Company. And all I can say is live from Temple, Texas, it's the Don and Konrad birthday party. And our special guest today is going to be Cadet Don.
Oh, my God, yep.
Mm-hmm. And Stan, the vice president of Richardson's Chevrolet.
Yeah.
Bringing all the boys back.
They're going to finally make Don pay for all the paint jobs he ruined.
No, that's exactly right.
Getting the band back together.
So Mike said y'all had, I mean, I got to tell you, that last review, you stretched it like I'd never have seen you stretch something, Don.
Well, you know, we're trying to fill a little time here because we were depending on guests from the Tailpipes and Tacos cruise-in, which we typically do, and it's very popular because we get to talk to guys that are true enthusiasts, and they bring their cars, and obviously they're there. Let's find out about you and your car and all that.
And they're always willing to join us.
When you
and
pull
talk
the
about
plug on at an event that we've lined up for strictly guests, not so much anymore. What do you got there?
Well, this is my birthday gift that I got for Betty Skelton, 50th anniversary 53 Corvette.
Oh, wow.
And it's one of my prized possessions in my garage.
In real, do you have a 53 real car?
No, this is 124th.
Oh, okay. The
But
124.
he keeps it in the garage.
He keeps it in the garage.
Just to tell people it's in the garage.
So it's just like, see, I got the Clint Boyer signed BB&T car. Betty signed mine too, but that was my big deal when I was with Bass Boat and Trailer Company.
And Clint Boyer's going to the announcer's booth this year. He ought to be a hoot.
He is that.
He is a funny cat.
My favorite car was my 2007 Crossfire, Chrysler Crossfire.
Which was a Mercedes Benz
Their
SLK.
Yeah, SLK.
Yeah,
It shared the
Okay,
platform.
that's correct. And I actually named my company after it, so it's Crossfire Properties.
Nice, because you're a real estate agent now, right?
No. I'm a property manager.
A property
My wife and I,
manager.
we have a small company, and we try to keep people in houses during COVID.
I got you.
Yeah, how's that working out?
So the real reason that Mike called me was he needed somebody to fill in, but obviously,
No, we were going to talk cars. We've talked some cars here.
Obviously, I wanted to wish you the best, happiest 70th birthday.
I'm not 70, George.
I thought it was 80.
No.
He's starting his 8th decade.
No, none
Don
of the
is an
above.
octogenarian.
I'm only 60.
You're so full. Oh, but
Well, then act your age.
Yeah, instead of hobbling
course,
around.
We can't leave Konrad out. And nobody said much about his birthday. But happy
I'm
birthday,
60.
big guy.
I'm 63, and if Don is only 60, it just means he's missing 10 years. It was that 10 years he spent in the 7th grade.
I want to know how many years is this in dog years?
Oh my God.
Oh, my
Oh,
word.
that would be, so it'd only be 10.
That's a question for Suze.
The Suze, she's over here. She's all
She's napping.
napped out, but she heard her name and looked up. So, yeah, she's
So,
over
you
here.
know, so Mike was like, okay, fill the time, George. Anyway, I can tell you that Don has been the same great guy since the first time I met him to today. He never forgets his friends. He's
Albert
kind
Sidney Johnston Junior High School.
He's kind to his enemies. Well, most of them. And then I've always said this. He's had one of the most dangerous jobs flying over the city of Houston, reporting everything that takes place in that town.
All the bad stuff.
And you know, I've always wanted to ask you this, Don. Why is it that when you would fly over Southwest Freeway and you would say it's rush hour and the cars are only going 5 miles an hour?
Yeah, there's no rush to get anywhere, apparently.
No, nobody's rushing because it's a parking lot.
George, a lot of times I live in a 2-story home. A lot of times I see him and his chopper hanging out my window. So
How's that?
It's that pool down the street.
Yeah.
At the pool.
at the
Don,
Houston
Don
Club.
helped me a bunch in my career. He doesn't even realize it, but I used to represent the city of Houston, and so during Hurricane, I think Tropical Storm Allison, the sewer plant down on Bray's Bayou overflowed,
Yep, I remember that.
and so I sent Don a note and I said, "Hey, any way I could get some of that video?" So one of the guys got me some video of that, of showing everything going down the creek, down the bayou, which we used to play in when we were kids, by old man Meyer's house. And anyway, I helped the city of Houston get their claim resolved associated with the London markets and everything. But I made the suggestion to him that he ought to kind of beef up his broadcast a little bit and add a little fun in. And so I wrote him a little deal. And of course, I don't know if I can do the whirly bird like it sounds like, but
Conrad can add that.
Something like this is Don Armstrong. And I'm over Bray's Bio here over the sewer plant, and it's a terrible sight. There's a water buffalo turned over down there on Braeswood, and it's backing up traffic all the way to Buffalo Speedway.
Hey, George, kind of slide over. Let him see your background. You got a great background there.
Oh,
there
that's
you
right.
go, Don. Diamond studded.
Diamond studded with
For
gold
our
balloons.
for our stud.
George, you know, you never fail to amaze me and keep me amused. I have to tell you that. But for those that don't know, George and I go way back to junior high school. We've known each other that long. And George's dad is quite the character himself. And why don't you tell us about the theater downtown and all that briefly?
Yes, please.
Oh, well, my dad, of course, ran the Metropolitan Theater for a number of years, and he just did everything. Now, when you were at KYLX, we were doing the promotionals with KLOL, and we were doing Saturday night shows and in the theater. And, oh, my gosh, we had Billy Preston, Bob Seger, just every band that you could possibly imagine. And my dad didn't charge anything for the theater. He just sold concessions and stuff. It was like $2 to get in. It was some of the coolest times in downtown Houston before he lost the lease on the theater and closed down. But I mean, we had all kinds of stars that would come in. He was always giving away stuff, cars at the Alabama and the Village. He gave away a dolphin at the Alabama one time. I remember that. He had a pogo stick contest out in front of the Alabama, and a kid pogo stick for 4 hours, and the pogo stick was smoking. And his mother and dad won the car.
Well, obviously you get a lot of your personality from your dad.
Well, thank you.
Yep. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a compliment.
Well,
He's a great guy.
It was meant as one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, you know, the Metropolitan Theater days, is it the Metropolitan that is still there, that they've turned it into some sort of a venue? Is it the
No, they tore all that down. It was right across from First City National Bank, the big white building.
Yep.
Right by Foley's, Lamar Hotel and all that, and they built a big complex there. But, you know, he started the closed circuit broadcast of the Indianapolis 500, and nearly all the dealers would send their teams down to watch it, and it was terrible. It was a black and white projected picture up on the screen, and the best thing about it was he'd sell about 100 cases of beer, so nobody cared.
100 cases of beer.
But I remember the A.J. Foyt crash, and when they had the big crash, like the first 11 seconds of the race, and everybody thought, man, who was killed in the thing? It was terrible, and they didn't know. I mean, the cars were coming out of the smoke, and you couldn't identify him. But he did that for many years, and he loved NASCAR folks.
Well, when did your dad pass?
2007.
2007. Mine did too, in the same year. Well, what a shame. I wish that I'd had a chance to meet him. I never had that opportunity, but what a character. And I know that
did when you went in the theater. You know,
he was always there.
Greeted most everybody that came in.
Well, you worked there too.
I worked in the theaters from 1963 is when I started. That meant I was 12 years old.
Back before there were child labor laws.
That's right. I carried popcorn, made Cokes and all that stuff. But my whole life, my early life was in the theater business. And while Don was going to the racetrack on Saturday, I was down at the theater, you know, being an usher.
Well, Did you ever work at Astro World?
I did. I worked the Maypole.
Oh, you
And
did?
Yeah,
What
several
year?
other people that worked there, and from Westbury that David Chapman comes to mind.
Sure.
And Ed Seal was the Abominable Snowman, and several other people that were in that thing. But you know, Don, you're at an age now. You really need to take care of yourself.
Well, thank you. Thank you so
I really am worried about you. I really think that you need to take the Sue's position sometimes and let Sue's do some of the stuff.
Well, we can get her up, wake her up from her nap, which I guess you're right. I should be doing that.
At 10 at 9 in the morning.
Well, Don's a spry old dog all to himself.
Yeah.
Well,
Dog being the key.
You're all great guys. I got to tell you, it's been a pleasure, and I love this format that we can interact with you on this show. Back in the early days when you were on ESPN, it was tough.
Yeah, well, we sure appreciate you, George. And again, thank you, by the way, to you for all of the nice things that you've done and added to our show, including the wonderful lunch that we all shared last weekend. It was a first, our show goes into its 10th year next year, and it's the first time that we've all actually had somebody buy our lunch and we could all share it together. The only thing we were missing is you.
Right.
Hopefully that next time we have an event like that you can come down and share it with us.
Well, I'm sorry that Stan couldn't get on, but he still owes you that $5, man.
George, I love you. Thank you so much for calling in today, and we really appreciate it, man.
Happy birthday, Conrad.
Thank you, George.
Happy holidays to you, George, and have a safe New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Y'all too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you, George.
My gosh.
No, so you were wondering why we were missing a few guests. We weren't missing them. We just didn't tell you about them.
I got you. Yeah, it was. Yeah. So, well, what a great treat. All right, shall we move on?
Sure.
Okay, let's do Conrad's This Week in Auto History, shall we?
Well, each week we try and bring you a little bit of an education on things that have happened in the world in automobiles this week. So in 1909, we were just talking with George about the Indianapolis 500. Its name is the Brickyard, and it was built with using over 1 million bricks. The whole 2.5 mile track was brick surfaced up until sometime in the 50s, I believe, until they finally resurfaced it. So it was on this week was when they finally finished building the Brickyard in 1909. In 1916, and you could see, you could still see the cars from way back then. You could still see the brick surface, and that brick surface is, that was in the 50s, I believe. So in 1916, the Studebaker Corporation, a leading automobile manufacturer, began its world's biggest horseless carriage company, and they started construction of their new factory in South Bend, Indiana, to build automobiles. And they were one of the leaders in the first half of the 20th century. In 1939, the first production Lincoln Continental was finished this week. The Continentals of the 40s are commonly considered some of the most beautiful production cars ever made, and you can look at that and see just how gorgeous that car is. And then in 1941, Buick lowered its prices to reflect the absence of spare tires in their new cars, mainly because of World War II. In 1947, the NASCAR was founded at the Streamline Hotel in Daytona Beach.
Is that the BBT car right there?
That's the BBT car right there. That's Betty Skelton might be driving it for all we know. And originally, NASCAR was just a bunch of bootleggers driving souped-up hot rods that during Prohibition that came together and they created NASCAR. And this hotel still exists, I believe, down in the Daytona area. In 1949, a Swedish company named Svenska Aeroplan produced its first motor car in it was a Saab. And the Saab, that was actually a 25 horsepower two-stroke, two-cylinder engine.
Never
In
was a
its first-
Saab fan.
Is that where they grow those little sausages that they put in the
That's
can?
yeah, the Swedish sausages.
A Swedish fish.
Gefilte fish. But like I said, this car, the entire body was stamped out of one piece of sheet metal,
It looks like
and then
cool.
they went in to cut the doors and windows. Yeah, I thought it was very, very cool. In 1957, the final two-seat T-Bird was produced this week. And, you got to remember Ford Thunderbirds were a pretty stylish two-seat sports car that was
So they
more
only
the
built
luxur-
3 years of them.
of the two-seaters, right?
That's got the opera window. And
That would be a 57.
American Graffiti.
Exactly. And that was Suzanne Summers, actually. Mm-hmm. So, it went more luxurious than the Corvette went sporty. In 1979, the United States Senate approved the loan guarantee of $1.5 billion to Chrysler Corporation. You think $1.5 billion back then was a lot. It ain't diddly today, right? And then in 1984, the first Chevrolet Nova is introduced that was built by the Numi Manufacturing, which is a joint venture between Toyota and Chevrolet. And the problem with it is the vehicle was introduced into South America. Nova means no-go in Spanish. And the Numi assembly plant now is building Teslas.
Is that where that is?
Fremont,
I
California.
had no clue.
So that is this week in automotive history.
Thank you very much. I'm looking for a particular story here to start off with because I have so many stories today.
For automotive news?
Yeah. So Honda Motor Company said Tuesday it's recalling 1.4 million vehicles in the U.S. under four separate campaigns, including some linked to reported thermal events.
Oh, boy.
Japanese automakers said one recall covers 268,000 2002 to 2006 model year CRVs to replace power window master switches. Honda said there has been no reported injuries, but 16 thermal events reported related to the issue.
There was also a drive shaft recall in there somewhere,
Honda conducted a prior recall of the power window master switches in 2012. The new recall is in response to moisture-related failures of switches repaired under the previous action.
So we're going to recall the recall.
Honda's also recalling 735,200 2018 to 2020 Accords, 2019 to 20 Insights, to update the body control module software. Programming flaw could disrupt communication, causing illumination of several warning lights and malfunction of electronic components, kind of like that Cadillac that I'm driving right now. Honda's also is issuing two recalls covering 430,000 Acura and Honda vehicles in 22 U.S. states to inspect and potentially replace front drive shafts. Both are in response to possible breakage of the drive shafts due to corrosion. All right.
And you think through the years how many times different things have been recalled due to corrosion. And that's something that they try and validate as they build and design vehicles, but only time
But
will.
in layman's terms, we think of corrosion as rust. That's not necessarily the case when it comes to corrosion. Corrosion could be in anything.
Right.
Electrical connections, whatever. It doesn't have to be anywhere close to salt.
Right.
Just humid air.
And it's more about the humidity than it is the salt. But every now and then you'll see a recall will happen in the Gulf states due to salt as well.
Like canaries in a coal mine, car makers and suppliers in China are warning that a shortage of automotive microchips is threatening to slow down the global industry's pandemic recovery. The alarm was sounded this month by Volkswagen and German suppliers Bosch and Continental, which cited tightening supplies of semiconductors and said bottlenecks could run into 2021. The industry is beginning to brace for impact as microchip prices rise and inventories dwindle.
Yeah, the global supply is running through a funnel in China, and it has for quite some time. And until they do something about that, this is going to repeat itself.
We've got to start buying more American stuff. Even if
it's not buying, it's producing more American stuff. You think through the years, a lot of that stuff was produced here, and then with all of this corporate theft of intellectual property, it's stolen by China, given to their companies. They build it cheaper, so cheap they put the American companies out of business, and then they are the only supplier of it
We
in
know
the world.
that won't happen in this show.
Yeah. There is no intellectual property.
There's nothing intellectual about anything that we do here. That's it for this segment of In Wheel Time. Part number 2 starts in just a little bit.
Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild to wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's premier cruise-in, and you're invited to join in. Whether you're a cruiser or spectator, Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and mingle with Houston's fun car people. Mark your calendar for Saturday, January 16th for Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupe Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free, and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods all at one location. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in a friends and family event. The Lupe Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Lupe founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, January 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupe's in Katy. The In Wheel Time Car Show will be there too. Get your ride ready, and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise in, January 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupe's in Katy, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com.
From Studio A in Texas, USA, it's the award-winning all things automotive car talk show, In Wheel Time. Just ahead, a review of our pre-owned car of the week, the 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe. Our events calendar and a new feature, the Auto Dorks Show and Tell.
What he said.
And we'll also have Konrad's Car Clinic. Stories making automotive news headlines, too. That and more just ahead on today's In Wheel Time Car Show for Saturday, December 19th, 2020. Howdy. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Konrad DeLong, Jeff Zekin sitting off camera over there. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us. And we'd like to welcome to our broadcast today, Mr. John Hovis, and thank you, and we miss you, John Hovis, at the Hemi Hideout. I was thinking about you just yesterday, as a matter of fact, for some reason, and thinking, we haven't been out to the Hemi Hideout, once, maybe this year? I think early on before the COVID thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
If it was, it would have been February or something, yeah.
Once or twice, yeah.
Yeah,
we understand why it's closed. It's a private collection,
and it's a gallery of places, and
right.
So anyway,
got to follow the rules.
Mike, do we have Joseph?
Yes, sir.
We do.
He is here. He is ready to go.
So we have with us now Mr. Joseph Pledger, and he is with Houston Car Meets and Cruises. And Joseph, hey, it's great to talk to you. Great to see you again. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday.
Thanks for having me.
On such short notice.
Happy birthday to Konrad and Don.
All right, thank you very much, sir. We appreciate that. We've got the birthday band going to play a little bit later on, and you be sure and tune in for that. Anyway,
it's a polka.
So
I know. I wish we would have arranged a birthday cruise for you and just driven by your house, honked, done a couple.
Oh
reps.
yeah.
That's right. We could all wave and have a birthday cruise by. Yeah, exactly.
And actually, you mentioned that, and we kind of giggle about it, but you've on your Facebook page, you talk about all of these different birthday cruises as they're going on in town. And I know your work and effort into doing that is what drives a lot of people just to go get in their car and go drive by and make somebody else's day fun.
Absolutely. I mean, and whether it's a teenager or a young kid, I mean, it's been great to get out. I mean, I think the isolation has been one of the worst things with COVID. And luckily, we're, depending on the county that you live in, we're starting to see some increase in the car meets.
Oh, well, yeah, I kind of saw more of a peak of it August, September, October. Now it seems to be waning, but I think a little bit of it wanes off through the Christmas season anyhow.
Wayne?
And then is Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. Oh, sorry. Okay.
But, we really appreciate what you do, and I know you know that I use Houston Car Meets and Cruises as my resource for stuff that's going on in town as well, because if nobody's ever gone to that site, you've got anywhere from 50 to 100, 110 different events each week in the Houston, Southeast Texas market that people can kind of go look at and see, make a choice of what they'd like to go to. So I really commend you.
Absolutely.
How much time do you spend on that a week? Because that's a huge collection of information that you keep up with.
I mean, it's been years in the making. I mean, Houston Car Meets and Cruises is actually celebrating our 5th year anniversary this month. And over the course of that 5 years, I've began to follow a lot of different pages, different clubs that host meets. And by taking all that information, it's readily available in my news feed. I did social media marketing for a while, and so I know how to manage what I see. So, while everybody else is seeing politics, I'm seeing car meets. And so it's definitely kept me sane. And I just gather the information. I spend probably about 6 to 10 hours a week between finding events, doing searches on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for a post, what I call the weekly update. And then I spend about an hour in the evening, and I just create a list with links so that people can go and join discussions about the events. They can, keep them up to date, whether or not an event's been canceled. Unfortunately, like today, we've had quite a few cancellations due to the weather. But at the same time, there's some that are rain or shine. So having that list by date and time has really helped the members. We have a little over 5,800 members now, all Houstonians. And they all stay relatively active on the page, which is great.
Well, and that's something, if people go check it out on Facebook, you have to be invited or approved to join the Facebook page. And I appreciate you doing that, because it keeps most of the riffraff out. You let me in, so you made one mistake.
So that's why he said most of the riffraff, not all of it.
Well, that probably is what takes the most time out of that 6 to 10 hours per week, is that I get roughly 150 to 200 requests to join. And I've had to simplify it for myself, because it used to take 15 to 20 hours.
Oh, wow.
And I basically said, here's the rules, here's the guidelines. I almost lost the page a couple of years ago, because hosts started looking at my page as the page that was giving the information to the undesirable attendee, the people who are going to go there and rev and do burnouts and things like that. And I didn't want the page to be known for that. And I didn't want to lose the respect of the hosts, because without the hosts, my page doesn't exist. Right. And so I shut it down for about a month and went through every single member. And at that time, we had almost 6,000. It's taken us about a year to get back there, but I don't promote it. It's strictly word of mouth advertising to get to the page or invites. So, I'm happy with what it is. I'm not there to, get 15,000 or 20,000, but it definitely is all Houstonians.
Right.
And that makes a big difference. So you've got a process, and I think you're never going to be able to, stop somebody like Konrad from showing up and doing a couple of donuts out in the middle of the parking lot. But, you're at least trying to screen that, and I think everybody really appreciates that.
Absolutely. We have to do what we can. It's not a perfect process. I get messages from probably about 5% of the people who request to join and wind up not getting in. And they're like, why don't I get in? I said, you don't meet this standard, or this is the reason why.
You suck. That's basically it. You suck and you can't get in.
I try to be as respectful as possible. I give every host
you
the
suck,
benefit
sir.
of the doubt, but ultimately, it turns out that they just don't meet. You're judged by the company you keep, right. And we want to ensure that the Houston car scene has the most positive. Yeah, well, I don't hold Konrad at your proximity to Konrad too much.
We try not to set too close.
And there is, and that's what I really appreciate, because in how you manage the page, because there are some, what I'll say, less than desirable behaviors that can happen at some of these events that can bring the police in, that can jeopardize the safety of people. And all of the meets, all of the big meets, try and do all they can to minimize that. And it's ultimately driven by the people that show up. And, as those people show up and misbehave, that's what shuts meets down, and on and off over time. Different meets kind of get turned on and turned off because stupid people do stupid things.
The thing I've noticed is that I've been to several meets with Don and y'all this past year. The things I see is that the folks that attended police themselves.
Try very hard
to.
They
do that, and it's actually respectful in a way that, you do see something that's undesirable. The folks that are attending will control it themselves rather than getting law enforcement or the host involved in it. They'll do away with it on their own. Yeah. That's what I see.
Yeah,
that's absolutely right. The biggest and best events, they draw the right crowd, and the majority of those people attending are the ones that will help the host because they want to see the show be successful and continue. Right. I met with hosts about a year ago, met with Troy and Andrew, and I think it was about 10 hosts, and we met out in Katy, and we just talked. What is it that you're doing that's worked for you? What is it that I can do to help y'all? And that's where we came up with the idea, I'll focus on how I can restrict membership and keep it to just the people that we believe are going to do the best. But I've seen it. There is no logic to who is going to be the potential person to mess up a meet and who's not. I've seen people in their 80s and 90s that want to rev an engine, they leave a parking lot and they hit a curb. I've seen it as teenagers driving their parents' cars. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no age or ethnicity. It's all over. It's people that just don't have the experience, unfortunately, and they just show out. It's having people on the curb with their cell phone cameras and they want to be the next YouTube star. So
and egging people on to do stupid stuff, and that's where it takes the attendees to try and shut that down. But boy, I'll tell you, some of those big meets, it's real hard to do.
Even the biggest and best meets, you don't see people on the curb,
right,
with their cameras. They're doing it while they're in the parking spots. So.
Right, they're walking around and enjoying the vehicles and stuff, But really and truly, because that kind of activity you're talking about is pretty much what killed the coffee and cars scene. There used to be all over the place.
Multiple times, because coffee and cars has kind of moved different places throughout the city, because at some point people show up and misbehave and they get shut down because all of these hosts have to depend on the property owner to give them permission to hold the meet there. In a lot of instances, they have to carry liability insurance as well.
You know what I think is cool also, the ones that we've been to recently, folks have the little drones, and they're flying around with drones above the cars and taking pictures, video, and snapping. I think that's so
pretty cool.
You're standing looking at a car, and you hear a little buzz behind you, and it's a drone.
Yeah, I know. And Joseph does this contest to get your club on his banner of his page, and I don't own a drone, so I've never been on the banner of his page.
You don't need a drone. I tell you, I look for what is the quintessential meet. I don't allow single pictures on the banner. I don't want to highlight one car, but I change it up every month. Sometimes it's it needs to be a holiday theme. Sometimes it's one car. Sometimes it's the person who's on the page at the time when I do it. I want to give the littlest guy a chance, because there's a lot of professional photographers that do some great work in Houston, and they win a lot. Or a certain club. Who was it? I believe it was the Subaru Club.
The Subaru Club makes the banner quite often.
Well, and it's, guess why? It's because they have a lot of members that are on the page. They have a lot of meets. They want to share their events, and
they do cool photography as well. You know,
yeah.
their staging of the photograph is actually well organized. You know, just me standing next to my yellow Oldsmobile just doesn't cut
with
it.
the trunk open.
Yeah, with the trunk closed, fortunately.
Yeah, I try to give everybody an equal opportunity. This year, you know, I stepped out of the usual Houston Car Meets and Cruises posts. I wanted to help businesses as much as we could in regards to the COVID pandemic, and I said, hey, feel free to share your service, your business, and we'll allow you to promote on this page. And then as of 2021, you know, I've seen a good uptick in the repeat car shows. So what I'm going to do is just do a single post where businesses can go on there if they're willing to host or use their lot for an event, because that's one of the biggest things is having a location that's willing to that has a large enough lot and that's willing to have a car show come out, because there's clubs that need a venue and they become regulars, and it creates a good amount of business for them. And that's what we want to do, is help support local businesses and give, again, the car community a venue to host at.
That's a great idea, because now you're helping both sides of it, the facility as well as the car community here in town. We really appreciate that. You do a wonderful job, and it's Houston Car Meets and Cruises on Facebook.
So let me ask you, it's the middle of December. Hopefully not much of this year is left, but is there anything going on that people can look at for the holidays, for the rest of the year?
Yeah, there's going to be a couple of toy drives tomorrow. Actually, I believe at Aviva Stadium, there's going to be one of the biggest toy drives with ESCM and HIN, the Hot Import Nights and Eat Sleep Car Meets. That's going to be the biggest one for the remainder of the year. But after Christmas, you get a lot of pop-up meets, events where people are starting to get a little stir crazy because they may not be going to work, they may be on vacation, and they want to just get out there, you know, maybe try their new toy out that they got on their car. You know,
it's still in the trunk of my Oldsmobile.
But the new year's looking positive. I mean, I'm starting to see a lot more of the recurring weekly meets. Showplace Classics has their weekly meet. There's weekly meets in New Caney. New Caney's actually growing quite a bit in regards to the meets that they're doing. And then, of course, we have our monthly meets with Tailpipes and Tacos at Lupe Tortilla. So it's a great way to have that recurring meeting and be able to help out a business.
And the nice thing about your page is you can find something nearby you throughout Houston. You know, if you kind of go on the page and read it, you know, because you talked about Katy, you know, we talk about the Woodlands. Santa Fe has some stuff going on quite a bit. Baytown's got some stuff going on.
You got the College Station one coming up on the 10th.
Lucky's Rod Run. I appreciate you sharing that. You know, I didn't realize that was coming up that close. I know Don's going to take the vet out again.
They're still pending permits, and the city is slowly doing permits. Obviously, they're having issues at the city issuing permits because a lot more requests due to COVID.
Can you give us
not having staff?
Can you give us an idea what it takes to get a permit? What are the questions asked? What you have to kind of hoops you got to jump through?
It varies by city. I've looked at the permitting for the city of Houston, and it's a 1 to 2 page document. It's not very excessive, but there are certain requirements. That's where the issues come. It's not the paperwork. It's if you have over X number of people, you may be required to have law enforcement personnel.
And liability insurance as well.
Yeah, liability insurance, proof of that, as well as EMTs on site for first aid, that kind of thing. So it's not always the paperwork. It's the support of getting the things that you have to, that are required of you to have a event at a venue of a certain size.
And I remember last year, Lucky's Rod Run, you know, it's been going on for quite a long time, but all of the approvals didn't happen until like the last 2 weeks because the city of College Station was, you know, maybe not as open to the event going on, not realizing the amount of money it brings to the town. I think finally when they went and talked about the revenue it brings to all of the businesses in town, they were like, oh, well, that's sales tax revenue. We make money on that. And I think that might have been what kind of turned the corner for them.
Yeah, there's some really huge events that had to be shut down, and the cities, it's a fine balance right now between wanting to support the businesses of your city and bring in these events, but also ensuring the safety of the visitors and your community. So I don't envy them at all. I feel for them. I know they're going to make the best decision with the information that they have, both the hosts and the venues. There's had to be some cancellations last minute. I know to the Paul Walker meet at Houston Raceway or at Aviva Stadium that her and ESTM are doing. But I'm happy to see that there's recurring events, that they're helping out local businesses. That to me is going to be the best thing. So we mask up if you need to mask up, follow the city's guidelines so that way the meets can continue and that the venues want to get that support, and Houston will be strong.
And just behave when you're there. Follow the rules. It's not hard to do. A lot of times, or most of the time, your links on the page to the events that you're talking about, they all have rules on them, and the rules really aren't that different between events, but they're not hard to follow. Just do it, and it keeps the event going for a long time.
So let's review. I'm going to know a little bit more about tomorrow's event. Would you say it's BBVA Compass Stadium?
Aviva Stadium.
Aviva.
It's the Eat Sleep Car Meet and Hot Import Nights Toy Drive.
Where is that stadium?
I believe it's in South Houston.
Viva Stadium?
Yeah.
I wonder. It's the Viva Stadium Sports Complex, and it is located at 12131 Kirby Drive in Houston.
12135 Kirby.
So that's south
131.
Yeah, that's south of seriously south of the Astrodome.
Well, Kirby runs on down there.
Right. Yeah, I'd say this is kind of getting probably close to, I'm going to say Beltway 8.
288 just inside the Beltway.
Yeah, I was going to say just down around Beltway 8.
Okay, because I know that there's a new stadium down there, and I think it is a rugby stadium.
Oh, really?
I think, and that may be maybe it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I have to look it up, but yeah, it sounds like it.
But Hot Import Nights, they've been in town for quite some time and doing some big meets, and everybody loves a toy drive.
Exactly.
And an opportunity, if you missed today because of all of the rain and stuff, tomorrow's supposed to be a beautiful day. Might be a little chilly.
No.
It's
65, so that'll be a great time for a cruise in tomorrow.
Great sunny day to get your toy out and take it for a spin.
Joseph, thank you so much for joining us. You're a wealth of information, and if you really want to get onto his website, you need to beg, borrow, and steal, apparently.
And be nice.
Don't be rude.
And don't be friends with me, I guess, if he's trying to keep the undesirables out.
The riffraff out. Joseph, thanks so much. We really appreciate you, man. Have a great holiday season.
Thanks for having me. Y'all have a happy holiday as well.
Thank you. All right. Time now for this hour's car review. And, this is our new expanded 3-hour format that we have, because we are now a 3-hour show beginning at 8 a.m. on Saturdays, 8 to 11. That's our new hours, and we're going to stick to it for a while, I think.
Didn't the SS Minnow go on a 3-hour tour?
Yes. Thank you very much, Gilligan.
And that's a
right,
3-hour tour, a 3-hour tour.
The weather started getting rough.
rough.
The tiny ship was so does that make you the professor?
Do you know?
Or does that make you the millionaire?
Makes me Marianne.
I knew he was. I knew it.
You've been married before, so why not Marianne?
Skipper, professor, and Mike's the millionaire.
Mike's the millionaire.
There you go.
I got news for you.
Oh, darling, it's Thurston Howell the third.
Thurston Mars the third.
All right, Mr. Zekin has joined the car reviews. Mike and I do a new car review once each hour, and then Jeffrey gets the pre-owned car of the week.
Yep.
And Jeff's POV.
And we try to keep it within reason that that you might perhaps be looking for a used vehicle. And we try to keep it around 3 years or so old.
Right. Yeah.
Because usually in that frame of
we're
mind,
not looking at a 1986 Oldsmobile 88.
That's next week.
Yeah, that's another show.
That's on a tow hook.
Yeah. Anyway,
broken
so
key
Mr.
cylinder.
Zekin this week has the 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe.
Yes, I do. And to mention that the 3-year average, that's the sweet spot for mileage pricing. That's generally what folks want to look at. So that's why we do the 3 year, 3 to 4 years. So this is a 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe Limited all-wheel drive. This is
top of the line.
Allegedly the big boy. Now, so far as available trim levels, there's too many to name. There are 15 different trim levels for this vehicle. So in respect of time, we're not going to name them, but there are. They're
that could be a
long.
2021 vehicle
it
right
be.
there.
It
looks
could
like
be.
it.
No, it's a 17. It is a limited. The class is an SUV. It is a 6-seat passenger vehicle, which is the maximum that you can put in, not like the one you're driving this week, Don. What's the changes and the features? You've got the swooping undergrille. You have fog lamps, slotted-looking headlamps, the rocker accent trims. You see the rear there with the fascia or the rear fascia with the dual exhaust and the cutouts. And
Actually, it looks pretty nice.
It does look pretty nice. And in doing this review, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at some of the other vehicles. I'm looking at the ones I drive. They're all they're related somehow in a design. They're all related some way with the fascia, with a light structure, where they put the logos, and anything. They're all kind of related. They cross over.
To get that mass through the air, they all have to have some similarities.
Exactly. Spoke aluminum wheels, dual exhaust, roof spoilers, as you see there. Obviously, this is a 4-door. I like this little vehicle. You call it a truck, call it SUV, you call it what you want. It is a neat little vehicle, and of course, they're all neat in that respect with the SUVs and the CUVs. Exactly. There's plenty of leg room in it. Getting into the interior side of it, you've got get the cloth or the leather. You've got the power liftgate. You got HID headlights, keyless entry, premium sound, MP3 player so that you can listen to in real time on your radio.
That works.
Absolutely, your podcasts. It's got the smart device integration, backup camera, variable speed wipers, which they all have now.
Good-looking interior.
That is a good-looking interior. Little cockpit sides of it. It reminds me of mine. Of course, there's so many others out there. Like I say, they all cross over at some respect. You've got the center pod, depending on the design. You've got it all touch screens and touch buttons in there. Everything's on the steering wheel. You've got a good cluster for the dash. It's a good-looking little vehicle. Wireless phone charging, dual-zone ACs, heated and cooled seats. There you go. That's a nice little pod. I like that. I like the
shape.
And the way it's structured into the screen itself. So it is a 3.3-liter V6, which is on the smaller side of the V6 available. In all the markets. You do have a 4-cylinder available. It is 290 horsepower at 6,400 RPM. You have 252 foot-pounds of torque at 5,200. It is a 4,100-pound vehicle, and it's a 6-speed automatic transmission. So it's
got a lot of weight to it.
Right, it's got a lot of weight, and it can move 18 miles per gallon in the city, 24 miles per gallon on the highway, average about 21 to 22. Hold that shot if you could, Mike. 18.8 gallons in the tank. It's a typical SUV. All SUVs kind of look alike to me, but that's me. What that picture is there of the two folks shaking hands, that is Hyundai's first logo. You can picture either the one on the right or the one on the left is a representative of Hyundai.
That one on the left is a little questionable about where his hand or arm is placed.
The representative of Hyundai is shaking hands with a prospective client, and that's where the H comes through.
Which one is which?
I never realized that was their logo, original logo was the two people.
Yeah, one is a representative of Hyundai, and the other is a client that they're introducing to the company. Now, base price.
I understand why they changed.
We've lost control.
No, you've lost control. I just bring it to the table. You can hit it out.
Oh, my yet?
Okay, the pricing, base pricing is anywhere from 16 to 32, depending
Sure,
on the
I'm glad
mileage.
that they changed that.
Hold that shot, Mike.
Yeah, I'm holding.
Yeah, just hold it.
16 to 32,000 pricing. Now, the one we just featured here with the representative of Hyundai, $32,550 at 29,000 miles. So, with the Hyundai, with this product, you could go up a little bit on miles, and you're not going to lose on the pricing. Chevy Traverse and Ford Escape, all of those pretty much are the same competitors in this feature. So there you have it.
Well, I think you know what. I think you just need to leave that logo up for the rest of the show.
I think I'm going to move it on.
Now, next week, we're going to do a pogo stick contest.
Let's see if we get that pogo stick to smoking.
There you go. We're going to be smoking pogo.
Oh, gosh. Well, if nothing else, we have lots of fun doing the show.
Yep.
We try hard.
And don't forget, you don't pay for this either, so
You're getting everything you paid for.
free.
We're going to have to regather our thoughts and continue on right after a quick break. So invite you to stay with us. Minute and a half, nothing to you.
Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching in real time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Real Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inrealtime.com. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's premier cruise-in, and you're invited to join in. Whether you're a cruiser or spectator, Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and mingle with Houston's fun car people. Mark your calendar for Saturday, January 16th for Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free, and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods all at one location. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in a friends and family event. The Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Lupi founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, January 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy. The In Real Time Car Show will be there too. Get your ride ready, and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise in, January 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy, weather permitting. Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild-to-wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com.
This is the award-winning Car Talk Show in real time.
Not anymore.
We will never win another award in our life. We are your weekly go-to all things automotive place. We'll teach you things that you never dreamed of learning on a Car Talk Show.
And won't want to remember in the future.
Oh, no, you'll remember. It'll be indelibly
Burned into your memory.
Mm-hmm. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, who doesn't claim to be a part of this anymore, Konrad DeLong, Jeffrey Zekin off camera, I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us on this Saturday. Well, we're glad that you could join us. I don't know whether you're glad that you tuned in or not.
Thank you very much for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and that we do. And
like we said, we're entertaining, if nothing else. We try and have a lot of fun, and I still say we should do a subscription for our off
why?
the air.
We've just taken the off air right on.
That was pretty on the air. What's next, Don? Oh my God.
We'd like to talk. Let me ask you, because in a big corporation like Hyundai,
we need more Jeff.
We need more Jeff.
Did somebody write that?
In a big corporation like Hyundai, you would have thought, well, somebody somewhere in there, surely to God, had to think, maybe the arm placement is just a little bit off, or we moved it a little bit too far south.
But then it wouldn't have been an H.
It's true.
Well, we can certainly see why they changed the logo.
Yes.
with
And
two
they stylized
two
it.
men
It's
shaking hands,
no
one
longer two
shaking,
men shaking
maybe
hands.
not necessarily the hand.
Oh boy.
Anyway, so we were supposed to be at Tailpipes and Tacos today.
But it's raining.
Well,
Yes.
I bet the sun is shining for the moment, but there are
Nah.
more storms coming.
Oh, it rained real hard on me this morning when I was getting out, but that was it before the sun was up. But think about it. We'd get to Tailpipes and Tacos about 6 to get ready to do the show, and people were already showing up.
Absolutely.
There were cars showing up because they wanted to have some of the prime parking spaces, and they'd drive in about 6 o'clock and set up and kind of hang out and wait until
Store open.
until Loopy opened, and then they had because they great tacos, mimosas, Bloody
I
Marys.
was just about to say
Coffee.
That.
Coffee.
Yep.
Gotta have coffee.
Was there coffee?
There was coffee there, I was told.
The coffee's good. Y'all had the mimosas. I was drinking coffee.
I don't drink mimosas.
Oh.
You don't?
Bloody Marys.
You haven't drank mimosas yet.
Oh,
Because
the
Bloody Mary is the right thing to drink because you're getting a vegetable to go along
That's right.
with it.
It's healthy.
With your vodka.
Do they put vodka in it?
I don't know.
This is my shocked look.
At least it's not the look of the Hyundai logo.
Gee whiz.
Anyway, we kind of got off track. We were talking about batteries.
sorry.
I don't know. I have
Easily
no
got
idea
off
where
track.
we're at now. I'm just writing.
I
Just
got
throw all
9
that away. Throw all that away.
We came back from break at 9:32.
Well, you were saying that Amy had to get a battery in her
Amy had to
vehicle.
get a battery. So
And how old is her car?
it's 5
And Houston, if you got 5 years out of a battery,
out of a factory battery.
you got a good life out of that battery because
Yep.
typically batteries are going to be 3 to 4 years in Houston because of the high temperatures, and the high temperature stresses
Well,
the
I
battery.
think what saved it is the fact that the battery's back in the trunk.
Well,
Oh,
and enough batteries are in the trunks, and there's enough batteries that are actually in the passenger compartment underneath the rear seat that tend to last longer because they don't go through the heat stress that happens under the hood.
And would that be more of a climate-controlled ambient area?
Right. Yeah, because now, you're not seeing under hood. You can easily see 250, 300 degrees under hood of a vehicle.
Yeah.
So all of that is part of what stresses a battery out. So
So we were going to go and find an Advance near her. She lives down near the Montrose area. Well, there just wasn't an Advance close by. There was an AutoZone. So I go onto AutoZone. I start looking for batteries, and well, I come from the school as well as you do. $25, $30 for a battery. How about adding?
that's a long time ago.
How about adding $150
Oh,
to
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Spending
If you want-
$130 to $200
If you
for a battery.
want it made to fit the car. And so we bought the second from the top, and out the door, $200.
But that comes with a pretty good warranty.
Yeah,
Probably a higher than spec cold cranking amps.
Correct.
Which I
CCA.
always recommend people get a higher than specified cold cranking amps. Everybody's car has a
CCA.
Jeff called it CCA, cold cranking amp specification for it, which is when the battery's cold, how much power can it put out?
why? Why? Because typically when it's cold, it affects the cranking.
The
amp.
battery performs weaker when it's cold out. because-
I have to be contrary to that because there used to be commercials when we were growing up where they would freeze a battery in Alaska and they come out and they chip it away and they do that. That's actually deceiving because the heat is the detriment of a battery, not
heat-
necessarily the cold.
The heat damages a battery,
Right.
But the cold weakens a battery. It's kind of two different things. It doesn't necessarily do the damage, but the battery's ability for output is less when it's colder out than when it's hot out.
Yeah, I'm from the school that the heat is worse than the cold.
I've known some women like that.
You're from Detroit.
Yeah.
So I always tell people to get at least the next level up cold cranking amps.
Married most of them.
But they're divorced all of them. But you can get more cold cranking amps, but then you'll have to change the size of the battery, and you need to get a battery that fits the size of the tray that's in your vehicle.
Side post versus top posts as well. Or
Side post was a GM experiment for like 30 years that my personal opinion was an absolute disaster. But
Why?
Because a lot of times side posts would physically leak acid, and you would see that little stream of battery acid
Right
coming
out there where the post hole is in the side. Okay.
And happened for an assortment of reasons. I don't think GM ever really grabbed a hold of the reasons why, and all my GM friends out there are shaking their head with me. You know, GM had all of their excuses as to why. People would over-tighten them as well and create the leak, and like we talked earlier, that battery acid would leak onto something and just physically destroy whatever it leaked onto.
Sure.
So top post batteries are less prone to liquid leaks like a side post battery was. And now GM has gone almost exclusively to, actually I think they have gone exclusively to top post batteries. So after 35, 40 years, they learned a lesson.
Now, even with the new batteries today, you can still pop those tops off to look at the cells.
You can,
In
but
some-
there's no reason to.
Okay.
There really isn't any reason to.
Because that
they
would
have
where you fill it up with distilled water.
right. And well, yeah, that would have been where you actually you could open up the cell
And see if it's dry.
and look inside of it to see if it was sulfated, so
Right.
if it was all white crusty, or if the water level was low.
Well, wouldn't the water level go low and then it would get sulfated?
Sulfated, right. So now with what are maintenance-free batteries, which have been in vehicles since the 70s, really no need to. But one of the coolest things now, and I think they used it on Amy's car, is the Midtronics battery tester. They can hook up a battery tester to the car battery and just in a few seconds tell the condition of the battery, tell the condition of the starting system, tell the condition of the alternator charging system.
Actually, it was the guys down there at the repair shop
At
that
RMS.
did that.
Yeah.
RMS.
And it's a real easy hookup, and it's a great diagnostic tool. But again, that's probably close to a $600-700 diagnostic tool that they're using.
They also sell one on this, as seen on TV, where you plug it into the old cigarette lighter area that you can diag, your battery that way or charge it up. It's
How
gimmick.
much can you really
It's a
do? I
gimmick.
don't know. Yeah, those things. Probably you can tell. It'll tell you what the charging voltage is. You got to remember when you're sitting still and the car is off, battery voltage is going to be somewhere in the 11.5 to 12.5 range. When you start the car, you should see your voltmeter go up to somewhere around 13.5 to 14.5 volts, and that's a good quick indicator that your alternator is working correctly.
So when the vehicle's off and you have that discharge, you call it a discharge or charge for the
State of charge.
Does that mean your left rear tail light stays on? He's not shaking his head.
That must be an inside joke.
It is.
No, it's not a joke. This Cadillac that I'm driving has a few issues.
Oh, so the left rear tail light stays on until the battery goes dead?
Not quite that way. I'm not exactly sure what the issue is, but it definitely has an issue with that. And you can't dim.
And they gave it to you anyhow?
Yeah, they can't dim the lights on the instrument panel. Every once in a while, the radio will lower in volume and then come back up. It's got some sort of an electronic gremlin, and I'm not exactly sure what it is.
And most of the time, that is going to be a loose ground somewhere.
Yeah. So at any rate, we got the battery. RMS, that
They're on Westheimer and Woodhead.
Yep. And so Amy got the battery, took it to them, they installed it, away she went. Mm-hmm. And everything's fine now.
And in some cars, that can be quite complicated as well as quite expensive, because different cars, depending on who the manufacturer is, you have to go into the computer of the car to tell it you put a new battery in it.
Really?
Because what happens is as a battery ages, the ability to recharge it takes a little bit more power from the alternator. So it has to push a bigger charge into the battery. So in how complicated today's cars are, the car knows that that battery is 3, 4, 5 years old, and it knows because of that the output from the alternators had to go up to compensate for that. So when they put a new battery in, they bring that, the alternator is told, hey, there's a new battery in here. Don't overcharge it anymore, which is ultimately what was going on. So, especially in the German imports, you literally have to go in and tell it that a new battery was put in
Reprogram it. Huh.
so that it,
I'm not sure about
it teaches
the,
the alternator not to overcharge the
I'm
battery.
not sure about the 2015 Challenger. Is that
No,
complicated?
probably not. But, new battery is always a good thing.
Yep.
It is $200 later.
But you got 5 years out of it. And you got a good life out of that battery. That's
exactly.
surprisingly.
As I told her, as she was in tears telling me, Dad, I don't, blah, blah. I'm going, hey, it's a car.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any difference how old it is, where it is in mileage. It's a car. Things are going to go wrong with it. Things are going to wear out. Brakes, tires, batteries, common stuff.
And the older it gets, the more frequent those things happen.
Yeah, the car is...
it's in good shape.
Is that who I think that is? Yeah.
Oh, look, he's using the soft lens. He thinks he's Oprah Winfrey.
That's
either that or it's been. Hi, Oprah. How are you? God.
Oh, hi, Ray Ray.
Hey, it's me. It's so good to see you, David.
David
Ainsly, our chief engineer, lounging at home, drinking his first cup of. You drink coffee, David?
Yes, I'm having my third cup now. I'm trying to stay awake through your show.
Well, we're trying to figure out what all those liquor bottles are behind you.
And don't forget, if we were at Tailpipes and Tacos, you would be there. So,
well, that's true, and we would be drinking other things than coffee.
Yeah. Well, I think that they could actually make you a splash of Irish coffee there. They do have.
You
a
really
there you
wanted to.
Yeah.
You've always wanted Ryan on here, and unfortunately he's working today. It's my son, but he takes care of his car, so I have to take him to work because he didn't want to drive his car in the rain. So
thanks, Dad.
I have his car. If you wanted to see it, it's an 03 Infiniti G35, and
nice.
He got some new wheels.
Oh, those are gorgeous.
Oh, I like them.
How does the backs look? Are the backs kicked out? No,
look at that.
No. They fit.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the offset correct on it. Those are
yeah.
pretty much made to fit that car.
That is nice.
Yes, it fits nice.
The G35 for our listeners and our watchers is a derivative of
I'm
the
afraid to
Nissan.
ask what that thing is. What is that? What is that hanging down
it's made
there?
from Hyundai.
I was going to ask you guys. I don't know what this is.
It's a Hyundai
I
device.
thought it was you know what ring to hold on.
Yeah.
Looks like it to
no
me.
idea because it's on the handle of where the you know what handle is.
Is it a handcuff or is it solid?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I'm thinking something completely different.
Is he engaged?
No. When he's available, no, this isn't a nose ring, Jeff.
Oh.
So it's a what? Surikawa.
What is that?
It's a Korean thing. My daughter said.
Well, I know, but what kind of a thing? What does it do?
They stole them from Subways, and it's like a symbol of rebellion.
And how does your daughter know
They
this?
stole it from Subways. Oh, like it's a symbol of rebellion.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Oh, I
that
thought
boy
you
of yours
said-
is a real rebel.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Looks like it banged you in the head when you were making a right-hand turn.
What was that? I'm
Oh,
sorry.
it looks like it banged you hit you in the head when you made a right-hand turn.
Well, yeah, he can't drive too crazy, or else it's going to go.
Hey, David,
But
is that the car he had to roll the fenders to put the wheels on?
Yeah, it is. So he ordered this thing. I'll show you. There's a big heavy box that came in, and it's this thing. And it's
wow.
like, what is that?
It goes with
So
that hanging device.
This bolts to the wheel, and you roll the fender under. So it goes on, obviously you take the wheel off, put this on there, and then this rolls up under here and curls the fender under.
That little flange that's there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the little flange in there so it doesn't damage the outside, but then you don't cut your tires on the inside when you're dragging the ground with the body on the tires.
So you get at least another half inch, maybe more clearance there.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. Easy.
So it looks pretty sharp. It rides like a go-kart to me. So, he's got coilovers in here that you can adjust, and he dials them up to
Max stiffness.
But
Well, what I was going to say is the Infiniti G35 is a close cousin of a Nissan Z350 or 350Z. It just has a little bit longer wheelbase, but the powertrain's all the same. And then the Infiniti is just a little more content and a little higher.
It's a manual
class.
gearbox?
Yeah, he wanted a manual, and we found this. It was one original owner over there at down the street at our Emmons Brothers friends.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And this is about the fourth car I've purchased from them. And Ryan has put a sound system in, and they changed the whole center console out from the original so that you can have the radio, because this is an 03, so it's 17 years old, and it runs perfect.
Wow.
It looks good too.
Well,
Somebody, and I don't know who did it. They had got Brembo brakes on here, and they had an exhaust in here.
Got a cold air
intake.
Yeah.
So all that was done before Ryan bought it?
Yeah, that's how we got it from Emmons. I mean,
Nice.
it was just awesome.
Yeah. Well, I was inquiring with our cruise-in guru over there that
Joseph.
that he puts together a list of cruise-ins and car meets, and there is a big import meet tomorrow down off of 288 in Kirby. And I immediately thought of Ryan. And by the way, just to let the cat out of the bag, we're going to try to work with Ryan and Larry and do a segment with them once a week. And I haven't talked to Ryan about this. I know that he's talked to his dad about it. And we've kind of batted around now for months, but I think the time has come. Ryan's
An enthusiast.
an enthusiast
Very much
and a
so.
senior in high school. And I thought, that would
He's
be
a working man, too.
and a working man. And we thought it would be really nice to have him on the show with his best friend, both the car enthusiasts, and give us an insight as to what's going on in today's hot rod world that we all dealt with when we were that age. And
Yeah, because the cars are that much different today.
Yeah.
Where it seems like the young really prefer the import cars, where we're kind of more of a muscle car kind of.
Yeah, and that's
group of guys.
that's great. I mean,
But brings a new point of view to the show as well.
And just the thing where he said he's got adjustable rear suspension, we used to call that air shocks. That's the difference.
Yeah, and we put L6015s on the back, and you needed the air shocks to jack the back of the car up so you can get the tires on.
Because there were no 16s.
Because we didn't roll the fenders.
Yeah.
And then, our local town rolls through. Santa Claus is on a fire truck right now.
Oh, I thought that was your daughter. I thought that was your daughter.
No, so I've learned about all of these things too. So,
well, I think you need to go outside and show us Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Well,
So
let's see.
Are those all of his car care products he was showing us there?
Yeah, here we go.
Hi, Santa.
Oh,
Bye.
there he goes.
They're coming.
Oh, they're coming.
Yeah. They
Oh, it's almost
throw
Christmas.
candy at the kids, so you got to watch out and not get hit in the head. But yeah, these are a few of these things to keep this black car nice and shiny. So
That's a full-time job.
It is.
So
And,
since we're doing garage cribs, what's in the fridge?
Yeah, let's see what's
Oh, well.
in your refrigerator.
let's see. Let's go for the ice cream first. So we'll look in here.
Oh, you and Nancy Pelosi with all that high-dollar ice cream, huh?
I want to show you one more thing.
Notice he didn't open up the beer side.
Yeah. I want to show you one thing that Ryan is doing. He kind of, sorry, I'm going through the house and it's a little dark. He does things and it's kind of a piecemeal. It's a project. The car has turned into probably a lifelong project.
Oh, of
Aren't they
course.
all?
So he's purchased some headlights that he hasn't put in yet. I don't know why. Now we'll have to go into his
Stash.
The inner sanctum.
his stash. Here we go. So we're into the stash.
Careful what you show us.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, his headlights. Okay. So he gets some
So it's
halo
a-
lights for it?
Yeah, it's a whole assembly. Yeah, and it's going to light up, different LEDs and different bulbs in here and give it a new look, kind of fresh.
All I did was change the bulbs on mine. I didn't.
Well, plus it also gets rid of, and we've talked about this in the past, is the cataract effect on the headlight assembly as well.
Right.
Because as
Yeah,
headlights get old.
nice and clear.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Joseph Pleasure just posted up the link to the Hot Import Nights event tomorrow.
Does it say what time it is?
I'll click on it and see.
Right. But anyway, I thought this would be a great event and a great time for him to do a piece for us for next week's show.
2 p.m.
2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
At Aviva Stadium, which is...
Oh, yeah, I know where that is.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, so it's kind of between you and me.
Yeah.
So you just
I
need
know
to get
exactly
Ryan
what
to
it
go
is.
and use his new camera. We understand he ordered a new camera as well.
Oh, you can't say that. That's Christmas present. You just gave it away.
Okay, well, he won't see this until Christmas anyway.
Well, what a great tour, David. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Great seeing you, and thanks for joining us.
Well, I appreciate the time, and let's see if we can get the youth involved here
Yeah.
and get them on. And he's changing many wet tires today in the rain.
Oh, I bet.
No doubt. Ugh.
Well, we know he's quite the enthusiast anyhow, and you could tell just by looking at his G35, he really enjoys
And the
his
care,
toys.
the care and handling. Yeah.
All right, David. Take care. Thanks again.
All right, you guys too. All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Merry
Our
Christmas.
chief engineer, David Ainsly, and kind of taking a little stealth view of Ryan's car.
Not knowing we're doing this, right? Sneaking
Time now for
around.
Konrad's Car Clinic. And what are we talking? We did the battery thing.
Well, yeah, but today I wanted to talk about what's the real difference between synthetic and conventional oil.
Perfect.
And try and put it in maybe some terms you can understand a little bit. The main difference between synthetic and conventional oil is the size of the molecules. Conventional oil is naturally made, and because it's
Fossil fuel.
Fossil fuel, right? So its molecular construction is pretty irregular. It's got large molecules, medium-sized molecules, and small molecules, and that various sizes affect the viscosity of the oil. Now,
Kind of like the venue in here with amongst us
different.
four.
So you skinny guys, you tall guys, and
Yeah.
the wide guy.
Uh-huh.
But all of that has an effect on the vehicle's on the oil's viscosity. And viscosity is a liquid's resistance to flow. So thin or thick is the way everybody refers to it, but it's actually the fluid's resistance to flow. So, when you have larger molecules, they want to move slower than smaller molecules that want to move faster. And when you deal with multi-viscosity oils in cars, you have to be able to deal with the oil when it's cold and the oil has to do its job when it's hot in equal ways. So kind of a way to picture this in your head is a conventional oil, if you looked at it under a microscope, would have molecule sizes like a basketball, a softball, and a golf ball, all of those different sizes. So when you put it between two pieces of metal and create friction, where are the two pieces of metal going to ride on? They're going to ride on the basketball-sized molecules. So fewer points of contact to deal with that pressure and the friction. So those basketball sizes break down, and then the softball sizes break down, and that's why conventional oil breaks down a little bit faster than synthetic oil. So if you look at synthetic oil, it's still the same base oil. Synthetic oil generally is dead dinosaurs, just like conventional oil is. But that oil is engineered. So the engineers go through and they polish it and synthesize it. So now all of the molecules are the same size. So let's say they chose the softball size as the molecule size that they want to have. So now you have those same two pieces of metal come together, and they're all riding on the softballs inside. So it gives it much more points of contact, which reduce the friction. So the big difference between synthetic and conventional oil is just basically the size of the molecules. The other thing that happens is with conventional oil, with all those various sizes, dirt kind of hides in there a little bit better than it does with synthetic oil, where everything's about the same size. So both oils have to do primarily three things, if you think about it. They have to lubricate, they have to cool, and they have to clean so that they're delivering dirt to the oil filter all the time. And don't go cheap on an oil filter. The oil filter is probably the most important thing in your car to keep the oil clean. So you want to make sure that you're delivering to a quality oil filter. There's cheap oil filters out there. Believe me, if you're paying $1.75 for your oil filter, you're buying a cheap oil filter. And then we've had the Fram guy come on, and they talk about good, better oil filters as well. So that's one of the big reasons why synthetic oil can last longer in an oil change than conventional oil, because when you have more points of contact and similar size molecules in there, you're not breaking the oil down as fast.
What about blends?
Well, pretty much anything you're going to see today is going to be a synthetic blend. There is no pure conventional oil anymore, because all oils have to have a level of additives in them. You know, and those additives are friction modifiers, viscosity index modifiers, things to keep the oil from foaming, things to keep the oil from being destroyed by the acid buildup that happens in it. So with that, pretty much the base oil you're going to buy is going to be 5 to 7% synthetic products inside of it as well, so they're all synthetic blends. But to be called a synthetic oil, all they have to be is 51% synthetic product. Now, when you read the bottle on synthetic oil, some of them will say full synthetic, and that means that it's 100% synthetic.
Very
so
good.
That's the difference between synthetic and conventional oil.
Thank you for explaining that. It's time now for a quick break on the In Wheel Time Car Show. We'll be right back after this.
Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild to wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's premier cruise-in, and you're invited to join in. Whether you're a cruiser or spectator, Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and mingle with Houston's fun car people. Mark your calendar for Saturday, January 16th for Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupe Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free, and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods all at one location. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in a friends and family event. The Lupe Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Lupe founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, January 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupe's in Katy. The In Real Time Car Show will be there too. Get your ride ready, and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise in, January 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupe's in Katy, weather permitting.
From Studio A in Texas, USA, it's the award-winning all things automotive car talk show, In Wheel Time. Just ahead, a review of our car of the week. We'll also have a rundown of things that you'll be interested in.
And we're afraid to tell you what they are now, or what?
I'm afraid to know.
And you know what?
I think he lost his place.
No, I didn't. I just jacked it all up, that's all. But
Somebody shuffled your pages.
The one thing that I did get right, that it is
In Real Time Car Show.
And it is Saturday, December 19th, 2020.
Because Saturday, December 19th is your birthday and mine.
Your birthday.
So happy birthday, Don.
Happy birthday,
Happy
guys.
birthday to us.
And Angela sent you a birthday cake.
Nice.
Sent me a birthday cake.
Yeah,
we didn't send any to Jeff or Mike because it ain't their
Well,
birthday.
Mike's birthday is on the 24th of December, everyone.
Oh, well, here, you can have my birthday cake.
That's okay.
Kathy made some
These are pecan
Cupcakes?
pralines, and Kathy made some
some
red velvet
cupcakes.
Yep. I can't wait.
No, brownies. Red velvet brownies. Red velvet
Got anything special
brownies.
inside of them?
It's the
We
In Wheel
will
Time
know a little
cooking
later.
show.
Tell you what, while you guys are interviewing John, I'm going to go inside and have some, and if I like them a lot, I may share them with you.
He won't be back if he likes him a lot.
Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff Zekin over there. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us today. We have a little special guest that we wanted to bring in and talk to John Carnahan. He's with Spindletop Rods. John, hey, good morning, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Don. How are you guys? Sound like y'all are having Good time.
Yes, sir. We try to. Well, actually, we don't have to try. We actually do have a good time every Saturday. But wanted to talk to you today about Spindletop Rods. I understand it's one of the oldest rod bunches, clubs in Texas. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. We were established in 1982 and have had a good time. It used to be exclusive to just old rods. And as our members get older and the cars get newer, we're having to expand. So now if you have a car that's 30 years old, which is this year, it's 1990, we invite you to come and join and be a member of our club. We have one big car show every year that we use as a fundraiser, and we try to help local families that have children that have some type of medical issue, and we try to help pay some of their medical bills or try to fill in something that they need that maybe they can't do on their own.
Oh, how
and
wonderful.
That's what we do.
Well, to think that a 30-year-old car, you think 30 years old, that's old, is a 90 model car, I'm old.
Yep. Well, yeah, we know that.
Oh, yeah, me too.
So what kind of car do you drive?
I have a 1969 Camaro Super Sport.
Oh.
It's rally green, white top, houndstooth interior.
Of course.
And I've had it since 1971.
Oh, wow. What motor?
It's rally green metallic.
No, what engine?
Oh, engine, it's the original. It's a 350, 300 horse, but it's been tweaked a little bit. It's a 383 stroker now.
What a cool looking car it's got.
So it's an SS, not a Z28.
Right. No, and yeah, an SS. SS is X11 on the VIN tag.
I believe so. It's
Yeah.
got the hockey stripes on the side and rear spoiler in front. And like I said, I had it restored, I guess about 5 or 6 years ago. And first picture taken was taken by your buddy Mike there. That's what got me on the cover of a magazine, actually.
Put it on the cover of a magazine. It's a fine-looking car.
But it wasn't on the cover of Rolling Stone.
No, it wasn't on the cover of Rolling Stone. But we were working on that pretty hard.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Yeah, he sent some pictures over, but we're having some computer problems here, and I can't get them to show up. But it's a gorgeous car. You, sir, with your fixation on 69 Camaros, would love this with that black and white interior.
Might not be a Z28, but it's got to be a cool 69.
Oh, it is.
So you said it's an RS, so it's got the striped.
It's not the RSS. It's strictly the S. It has the exposed headlights.
Okay. The automatic or standard?
It's automatic. It's now a 700 R4. I've still got the original transmission, but I went with a 4-speed, and I went with a 373 rear gear and posi and 3200 stall speed. So it's a good running little car.
I would say that's and with
and
the
he drives it.
And the 700 makes it drivable, is what I was going to say, because 373 gears and a 3-speed automatic's a bit of a buzz going down the highway, especially if it's got headers on it.
RPM's kind of high.
Yeah.
So John and a bunch of the other guys, Will and 2 or 3 of the other guys that I know in the club, in Spindletop Rod Club, they go to cruising the coast. I mean, they drive them over there a lot of times.
That's Biloxi, correct?
Yes, sir. There's about 60 miles of coastline that you go. Biloxi and Ocean Springs. It's just a real nice trip. We haven't done it in the last couple of years. Of course, COVID has slowed everything down.
Right.
Matter of fact, 2 years before that, we had a hurricane in the Gulf. So go figure. So I think somebody wants us to back off or something.
So
but speaking of COVID, I may be getting ahead, but we do have our annual car show. And it's March 27th if COVID doesn't kill us again. We've never missed a car show until last year we had to cancel. And we're always the weekend behind the Heritage Festival in Nederland, Texas.
So is the Nederland Avenue Cruise going to be on the same weekend again?
Officially, it's not going to be we're not going to have it this year, but that's not going to stop, the car enthusiasts. They're going to be out there. It won't officially be a cruise, but all the cars from all day, they'll be out there.
Sure. And what they do is they work with the city of Nederland, and they block off the main run downtown. It's a wide It's basically
Boston Avenue.
Yeah, it's basically 4 lanes wide, even though it's a 2-lane road because of the parking stuff. But the city lets them block it all off, and they line both sides of the street, goes down in front of the school, and it kind of breaks off into a T. I mean, when you're talking, sometimes y'all get well over 200 cars over there, huh?
The last show we had 200, and I think it was either 4 or 208 cars.
Oh, wow.
So it's a really good turnout. It's a very scenic part of Nederland. There's not a lot of buildings down where all this is. I mean, there are some buildings there, but it's more of a scenic area part of downtown Nederland.
It's right across from the windmill. It's one of the cheapest car shows. We've tried to maintain our cost. If you register before March 22nd this year, you can register for $20, or you can register the day of the show for $25. Spectators, they're all free to come in and look. We have a trophy this year we're going to have is spectator or visitor pick, people's choice, and they can vote.
Oh, how cool is that? And from early in the morning till kind of mid-afternoon?
And the show opens probably about 8 o'clock. Of course, we'll be there early setting up. But it's open, I think it'll be over about 4:30. But we have judging of the cars by the actual owners of the other vehicles. They go around and they pick their favorite motorcycle, their favorite 55, their favorite 60 model, just different decades. And so we give quite a few trophies away. We give like 4 or 5 trophies per division. And actually it's a plaque, not a trophy, but it's still.
Yeah. So is it a one-day show, John, or 2?
It used to be a 2, but we downsized to a 1. And I don't know if that was the difference, but we had a bigger turnout with that because sometimes 2 days may be a little much. But it was a 2, actually 2.5 day, because we'd get there on Friday night and feed the guys with the cars and everything else. But now it's a 1-day show. It's Saturday only.
Okay. Probably makes it a little bit easier for people coming in because used to you had some people trying to come over from Lake Charles and stuff.
And Houston.
Yeah, so they could come over for the day without having to incur the expense of the hotel and everything of staying over Saturday night.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, cool.
So it's called, and I'm on your Facebook page now, and you guys haven't posted it up yet. So Spindletop Rod and Classic Car Show.
Yes, sir. Well, I will put it up as soon as I get off this.
Okay.
But yeah, like I say, it's still in limbo. We're on hold. We're waiting to see if we can have it.
Yeah, still got to get. Yeah, like we talked with Joseph, you still got to get all the permissions from the city, and that sometimes can be quite a struggle.
Judge Brannick, he's kind of watching. We're supposed to wear our mask, and we do. And we've had a couple shows, not us. We've gone to a couple shows here locally. And it was a good turnout, so I'm hoping that if we get to have it, we'll have that same situation because everybody has been in their homes and they're ready to get out and do something. Well, I can't think of a better way to spend a Saturday than to come out and look at some beautiful cars. And, buddy, we have a bunch.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine. Get somebody to bring one of those nitromethane cars out there and get them to light it up, and that'll kill all the COVID in the air.
It probably would.
Well, great.
You bring me a cupcake?
Don, you bringing cupcakes? Don is passing out the red velvet cupcakes.
Brownies.
Red velvet brownies. So
Oh, and happy birthday, guys.
Well, thank you very, very much. We appreciate it. Don and I share a birthday. His is just 7 years longer than mine is.
So it's a good thing you can't hear what he just said, John.
So yeah, I'll watch your Facebook page, and when you get that posted up, we'll share it on our Facebook page, and I'll also share it with Joseph Pledger, the gentleman who runs Houston Car Meets and Cruises, because they talk about stuff that's going on out in the Golden Triangle area.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, John. Now I know that Will's involved with. There's a Saturday night. I think it's the first Saturday night of the month out at Office Depot. Is that part of the club function, or is that just Will?
That is, no, it's on the side, but, we have a lot of club members go, and he's getting it started again because, like I said, COVID has slowed everything down, and people aren't coming out like they were. But yeah, he usually has a good turnout there too. So that's a fun Saturday. And you bring your chair and get your cold drink, and you sit there and you can talk to your friends, go look at cars.
The cars kind of come and go on a Saturday night.
Go sit there and see the cars.
Yeah, and that is the first Saturday night, right?
It's the first Saturday at at Office Depot over in Port Arthur, or I guess that's Port Arthur.
It is.
Whichever.
Port Arthur there on Highway 69.
That is correct. That's where he's at.
Cool. All right.
So
John.
the car clubs and car enthusiasts are alive in the Golden Triangle.
Yes, they are, actually.
Yes, sir, and ready to go and to do something.
That's right. Looking for places to go and things to do.
Have masks, we'll travel. That's right.
No gosh.
Do y'all ever do anything with any of those other clubs, like the Corvette Club or anything?
Well, they usually are in great attendance.
Yep.
At our shows.
Is that the
We see them around the county. You know, there's the Mustang Club too.
Yeah,
and
the Wild Horse Mustang Club. They come over here to Houston every once in a while.
That's right. Vintage cruisers. There's a bunch. There's a low rider group, I believe, in Port Arthur, and they come out. We haven't really done anything together, but the way things are going, it may, because I think all clubs have suffered a little bit because of this.
Yep. Yeah, I know. Mars is looking for a 32 high boy, so if you know anybody out there that's got one for sale, he's a buyer.
Yeah, he's been looking for 10 years, so
just can't find one for the right price. Free.
He's one of those guys in the jewelry shop that goes in there and looks at everything and then never buys.
Well, at least you're looking.
Yeah.
There you go.
You can go ahead and join our club anyway. We'll just help you look.
There you go. Well, I would appreciate that, and I'll bet you can find something, too, if you really looked, huh?
Yes, sir. I'm sure we could.
Well, it's great to talk to you. As I swallow my...
With your mouth full of brownie.
Velvet, red velvet brownie.
With a cream cheese.
Oh, it's good. Delicious. Anyway, so we're celebrating birthdays here, and we don't want to bore you with all that, but that's why the reason for the cake. We'll come over there and eat some cake soon.
Yeah.
Well, come on.
Let us know how it works out about the dates on the show and stuff.
I'll put this flyer on our website as soon as I get through with this little interview. And I'll be back in touch, Mike, and keep y'all updated, let you know if we're going or not. So maybe in a later date you can say yes or no.
Thank you very
sounds
much.
Good, man. Thanks
again.
All
right, John. Thank you very much.
John Carnahan with the Spindletop Rods. It'd be a great event for them is to meet us all up out there at Lucky's Rod Run in January.
That'd be a haul, but yeah.
It'd be a haul, but it would be fun because you would go the back routes.
Oh yeah,
up to 105 and through that area.
Oh yeah, you'd come in through the twisties coming in from Beaumont.
Hey, I want to remind everybody, if you'd ever want to get in touch with us, we don't know why. But if you ever wanted to get in touch with us, you can email us at info@inwheeltime.com. Make fun of us. Tell us how bad we are.
There's all the recipes we have, too.
Recipes?
Yeah, recipes.
And we're going to have merchandise up on our page soon, and I'm sure we'll do a picture of Suze on the merchandise. Yeah, she sits here and she's
shaking because apparently there's a thunderstorm.
That's what I was thinking. She's
come here, Suze.
Letting us know that a weather report.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just vibrating and moaning.
She wants really good. She wants some of the red velvet brownies. What she wants.
Don't we all?
See, when
Thank you, Kathy. They're wonderful.
They are. When I want some at home, I have to shake and cry.
Beg for it.
Yeah.
Just like most of us do.
Let's not go there.
I got my mouth full. I ain't saying nothing.
Yeah, well, it's probably just as well. Came across a story that I wanted to.
Is that you, Don?
That's the dog. She's right there.
I thought that was you moaning over how good these brownies are.
Come here, Ben.
They are really good.
I thought this is a very interesting story that I wanted to throw out there. People prefer personal transportation. From bicycles to cars, transportation options that provide seclusion are the choice for consumers across the globe who express reluctance to use public transportation and air travel. Those are among the findings in the 9th annual Further with Ford Trends Report, issued Monday by Ford Motor Company, and compiled by Cheryl Conley, the company's chief futurist.
Let's see. Ford Motor Company funds a study that says you need to buy a personal car and not use mass trans. No connection there now, is there?
More than 3/4 of respondents agree with the statement, and they can't imagine a life without having their own automobile. 40% say in their household needs more vehicles. 40% say their household needs more vehicles. I guess no surprise there. You shoveling that in pretty good?
Well, I have 3 at my house, and there's only 2 people.
Yeah.
No, actually, I have 4 at my house, and there's 4 at my house, and there's only 2 people.
Yeah, but one of them doesn't start.
Oh, shush.
69% of respondents report feeling overwhelmed, according to the survey. But people have also been adaptive and resilient, Conley says. 47% report it has been easier to adapt to pandemic-related changes than they initially imagined, including 63% of baby boomers. For younger generations, the pandemic has been more difficult to weather. 71% of millennials in the U.S., the highest of any generation, report they feel more stressed out than a year ago. Aw.
Yeah, really. Get a life.
As people seek escape or refuge, they are turning to their vehicles, but not for transportation. More than 1 in 4 car owners say they're using their vehicles to relax. 1 in 5 are using them for privacy.
Oh, gosh.
Well, there's commercials out about that where the lady walks in the house and it's disastrous. The kids are running around.
She goes out to the car.
And just
Turns
reclines
the
in
sound
the seat.
down and reclines in the seat.
68% say they'd rather see their children ride in a self-driving vehicle than with a stranger.
Oh, yeah.
according to the survey.
Let's not have any driver. Put your kid behind the seat of somebody where there is no driver.
I will say that it is kind of a skewed report.
Yeah. Well, but you think about it, relaxing is different to everybody.
I was waiting for them to address the living in your car aspect, but
that's only in Portland, Oregon.
Portland.
Well, you got to think, when we went on that forest cruise, even though it was a lot of fun, to me that's relaxing. Get out in a car, cruising around.
Like-minded drivers.
You're going through the twisties and stuff. To me, that is very relaxing. Driving downtown Houston, passing, Minute Maid Stadium at 8 o'clock in the morning sucks.
It's not relaxing.
That's not relaxing. But getting a chance to get out in the country and enjoy a
beautiful
frisky
day,
cruise.
Right. Fresh air, cool mornings.
A frisky cruise. Oh, my God. I am
cruise.
so into that. A frisky cruise.
Well, you and Jeff were together in your car.
I was. I had a driver. I was in a Corvette. I sat back. I was comfortable.
You were relaxed.
He was the little queen.
We're not going to go there. We already did.
All right. I don't know what I have done here, but apparently I haven't done enough.
Did you shuffle your pages? And
well,
now you don't know where
yes,
we're
I
at?
did. But it's time for the car review for this hour. And Mr. Mars, after he gets done getting...
He just dumped his Coke in his lap.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, way to go. So it's time for your car review. Do we need to get you a roll of paper towels? And
Jeff's got it.
Okay. I guess the timing is everything.
Get him
huh?
a diaper.
Yeah. I got those too.
He was trying to wash down that wonderful red velvet brownie.
That's exactly what I was trying to do, is get the last bite crammed down before we got to this point, so
You
I
were
wouldn't be
licking-
doing what I'm doing.
You've only had 10 minutes to do that.
You were licking the icing off of the paper.
Oh, my fingers.
God.
So please,
I've got icing
let
on
me
my
do my car
fingers.
review, if
Please,
you would.
we're waiting.
So we're talking about the 2021 Kia Seltos, and we're talking about the SX Turbo all-wheel drive trim level. Now, this is basically, it's a subcompact SUV. It's pretty new. It's new for 2020, and so 2021 is kind of a carryover. It's an entry-level SUV is what they started out calling it. It comes in 5 trim levels, LX, EX, an S2.0L, an S1.6T, and an SX. And I love the way they did it. It's pretty simple. It's nice and easy to keep up with.
It's hard to
so
say.
the way it's laid out, it's got a nice long hood. It's got a 7.2-inch worth of ground clearance. It kind of sets up kind of high, and it reminds me of a smaller Telluride. Their bigger vehicle that they came out with. That's kind of what I look at. It's kind of a shrunk Telluride. Got LED headlights up front and the fog lights, the daytime running lights, tail lights. Got a nice LED package with all that, and that includes an upgraded grille on the SX with the LED light bar that's setting up inside of it, so it kind of gives it a different, unique look because the SX is the top of the line. It's got power heated outside mirrors with the LED turn signals, and we were rolling on the 18-inch optional alloy wheels. So you put all that together with the roof rails, and you've got a really nice looking package. But the thing I found interesting is because it is all-wheel drive, they put front and rear skid plates on this vehicle. So you could take it off-road a little bit. Now you get to the inside of it, a couple of different options. We had the black cloth with the Sofino leatherette trim on them. The front seats are heated. The back seat is actually
Sofino
leatherette.
Okay.
I've never heard of Sofino, so that's something new.
Yeah, it comes in a bottle like about that big.
So the rear seat is a reclining seat that's a 60/40 folding seat. It'll fold down. And up front, while you're up there, you're looking around, you're going to find that there's a 7-inch LCD instrument cluster. We used to call them gauge packages, gauge pods, but now they're LCDs. But we also had, which I thought was really cool in this particular vehicle, we had the 10.25-inch display. That's where we're going to find the nav system.
The infotainment display.
And the infotainment display. And we also had the optional Bose audio with the connected lighting. It's got 6 color schemes inside the vehicle to go up with it.
And it dances with the music?
You can set it up to do that.
Huh.
Got a lot of technology, wireless charger, rear USB, and all that. A lot of safety features that go into this vehicle. So there's a lot of stuff in here. Now, up under the hood, we had the 1.6-liter turbo inline 4-cylinder. The other option you can get is a 2.0 liter. That's basically the standard engine, but you really want this turbo. It's got 175 horsepower, 195 pound-feet of torque, and it's backed by a nice 7-speed automatic that will, when you pop it, it'll shift. When you want it to shift, it'll shift.
We knew that you would have it shifting and probably squealing the tires.
Well, shift happens. So the EPA says that you should be looking for about 25 miles per gallon in the city, out on the highway 30 for a combined of 27. And I got a solid 26 with this vehicle. I was really pleased with the way that worked out. Comes with 3 drive modes. You got the normal, you got the eco, and then you got a sport. And when you're driving it out on the highway or even around town, it feels, you got a nice confident feel because you feel like you're connected to the road. It's not a race car by any means, but it's just got a nice, solid, comfortable drive experience to it.
Right.
It's got ample power. It's got a firm, very likable, firm ride to it. Now, if you're going to look at something to compare it to, because it is pretty new. Now, this is in the subcompact SUV category. There is a ton of vehicles in here. It's a very competitive category, maybe even the most competitive. But you can look at the Honda HR-V, for example, that starts at around $21,000. Then you could look at the Mazda CX-3 that starts at a little over 21, almost 22. Toyota's got a CHR that starts at 21.5. So there's a lot of vehicles in here to compare this to. But you got to look at all these features and the content that you're going to be getting because a base Seltos starts at $21,900. Now, the one that we had, because it is the top of the line, it's got a lot of content in it. It doesn't really have that many options, and I'm going to tell you. The 2021 Seltos SX Turbo Base is $27,890. So it's about $6,000 up when you get up to that trim level.
What is it, 27,000?
$890 for the base of it. Now, we had ours, had a couple of little options on it, but it's stickered out. MSRP is $29,485.
So it's still under
vehicle.
30.
It's under 30. And because you're at the SX, there's tons of these things with the power seats and a lot of the LED lights and cargo covers. There's a lot of things, the Bose, that's all standard when you get to the SX trim level. So there's a lot of content. And so when you're comparatively shopping in that compact, subcompact SUV segment, you really got to look at the content you're getting for the money.
I'm thinking that the Lilienthals need to re-examine their Delica and maybe perhaps switch over to this. You think they will?
No.
These are out right now, Mike? They're
Yes.
out right now.
Yes. You can
I
take
think
the
they're passionate about the unusual cars. The Delica.
The Delica. You know, when I think of unusual cars, I think of those Citroens from the 60s.
Yeah, those are cool.
No, they're
Citroen.
not.
I liked them.
Oh, with the wider track in front, the narrower track in back. They had a pneumatic suspension on them that you could raise and lower.
Fender skirts in the back.
What an odd.
Cool. Well, it's French.
I know.
Escargot.
Now I'm thinking of Lily LePew.
No, Peppy.
Pepe Le Pew.
Lily was his sister.
Lily's his sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
She smelled too. Anyhow, I'm sure there's another part to this. Are you finished with your review?
He is now.
Yes, I am. I'm not about to continue with that. I'm editing that one right there.
I think what you need to do is you need to include this little
Conversation.
diatribe.
along with the review and send that off to Hyundai. I'm sure that they'll truly appreciate it.
Probably not. That's why we edit these before.
That's
we
why
send them to
he did the
manufacturer.
Kia. I did the Hyundai.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're probably not going to send your Hyundai off done.
Not to the Kia people.
Yeah, send them the logo. Say, did you guys really do this logo?
Will you really take responsibility for this?
Yeah, is that guy still employed?
Let me ask you this: where did you find that logo?
That's top
Why don't you
secret.
put that? Why don't you put that logo back up there? Can you?
I can
No,
find
no,
it.
no, 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 no.
It's been deleted.
Because I'm still thinking that's got to be a joke. That couldn't be real.
I'm in wheel time jail.
We're about to get the.
We're not going to
Facebook
let
there.
that die. We'll come back to it, and we will get to the bottom of this, so to speak. All right. Well, that's it for this segment of In Wheel Time. We've got our last half hour coming up, and we hope that you're going to stay tuned for that if you're still viewing or listening.
Going to get
Because-
an update,
Huh?
and we're going to get an update on the Delica.
Yeah, we are. The Lillienthals are coming up next on the In Wheel Time Car Show.
Stay with us.
Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's premier cruise-in, and you're invited to join in. Whether you're a cruiser or spectator, Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and mingle with Houston's fun car people. Mark your calendar for Saturday, January 16th for Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free, and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods all at one location. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in a friends and family event. The Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Lupi founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, January 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy. The In Wheel Time Car Show will be there too. Get your ride ready, and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise in, January 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy, weather permitting. Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild to wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com.
Howdy, this is the award-winning car talk show In Wheel Time, your weekly go-to all things automotive place. Along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Konrad DeLong, Jeff Zekin off camera, I'm Don Armstrong. So glad that you could join us on this Saturday. It's December 19th, 2020. We're getting real close to getting rid of 2020, and we're all so happy. Yeah, exactly. So last week we talked to a couple. We've talked to them several times, but last week we talked to the Lillienthals, Andy and Mercedes Lillienthal, about their rather unusual vehicle called the Delica. It's a Mitsubishi Delica. And as trying to get me to explain, we're going to let them explain exactly what the Delica is one more time for our listeners or viewers that weren't with us last week. So if you don't mind, please tell us.
Okay, so Mitsubishi Delica is a van. In most instances, they're four-wheel drive with a true four-wheel drive system. So high range, low range, two-wheel drive as well. So Delica, Delica, is a portmanteau or a combination of delivery and car, originally introduced in the 1960s. But ours is a 1994.
Okay. So last week we kind of went over all of the things that you went through to get the Delica from Florida up there to the Portland area. And by the way, thank you for getting up this morning. I see that you've got your PJs covered up by your icy
your
cold,
thermal clothes.
Yeah, your thermal clothes. So we appreciate all that you do, and thank you for joining us again this weekend. But you know, one thing.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. So we didn't get to see the inside of the Delica, and we thought, 1994. Can we remember that far back?
Now, there is a reason that it's a 94. I mean, right, because of what it is. Could you explain that real quick?
Yeah, so the United States has a 25-year import rule. So if a vehicle was never federalized, crash tested, sold here in the United States, it can't be brought in and registered until it's 25 years old. And so ours is the 94, so just past that 25-year mark by a little bit. So this is the newer style of what they call the Delica Star Wagon. Delica Space Gear.
That's the newer version.
And the older version is the earlier version is the Star Wagon. This is a Space Gear.
Okay, just wanted to keep everybody up as to why it was a 94 and not something newer, because that's as new as you can get right now.
That's right.
And they still make them.
So they do still make Mitsubishi Delicas. They're onto a new generation. This one was made until 2007.
Wow!
Current Delica, the current Delica is called the D5, and it's still for sale in Japan. It's and like so many other, what were more capable four-wheel drives, it's now more of a crossover, but it still has four-wheel drive, but it's like a four-cylinder only, and it's only automatic only.
So they pulled its teeth, is what you're saying.
A little bit. I'd still drive one, but
that's why we rock ours that are almost 30 years old. So
yeah. And how many miles does this one that you're driving currently have on it?
This one has just over, I believe, 45,000 miles.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So
on a diesel too. I mean, it's a diesel, so it's nothing.
It's a diesel manual gear as well.
It is.
It's a shifter car.
It's a 2.8 liter turbo diesel with a top mount intercooler, 5-speed manual transmission, and then that aforementioned transfer case as well.
Yeah, I want to see the driver's space. I want to see how this all is set up.
Yeah, let's take a look.
All right, let's take a look.
Give me
Take you off the jerry can here.
That's okay. You just go right ahead. We're up there in Portland right now, obviously, and it's kind of a gloomy day, and it's obviously a little bit chilly. So
and it's early.
There's the outside of the Delica. And, I guess part of the reason that we love you guys is because, let's face it, you are a little bit weird in your taste for cars.
Thank you, yes.
We take that as a compliment.
It is a compliment.
And it was totally meant as one.
So we'll show you starting from the back here. These things are extremely versatile on the inside. So maybe some of your viewers are familiar with the Honda Element and the seats that fold up against the sides. Well, the Delica was doing that back in '94. So both of these seats actually do retract upwards. So when you do that, you free up a lot of space. So it's great for cargo. Now, fully carpeted interior, all that stuff. Let's go ahead and move to the side.
Well, that's a cool
I think
feature.
it's a little jittery.
Yeah, that's a cool feature to fold them up to the side because it really does make that much more space.
Well, I'll
inside.
bet you that WeatherTech does not make a floor mat series for that.
You're
correct, right?
You are correct, and I have checked. So on the inside, you can see the seats They will move forward. They will move backwards. There's so many knobs and buttons on these things.
We're still learning them.
Right. So you've got this part moves.
Well, you got to be pretty close to the driver there, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
180 degrees.
Oh, my God.
All kinds of stuff. So you can, when we bought this and drove it back from Florida, we actually
didn't realize everything it did, huh? Oh, how cool is that?
We had both seats in this configuration, and we had an air mattress and our sleeping bags, and we slept in the back of it. So it's extremely versatile for both cargo and camper van perspective, which is one reason why they're so popular globally for camper vans.
And you also still have to be fairly limber.
Yes.
Yes. Got to be willing to sleep in one.
Right. So I'm going to come over here.
Hopefully it's not too jumpy.
Talk to you a little bit about the driver's, the interior here. This is about as normal as it gets on this vehicle. Yeah, it's very 90s. I don't think there's a single squared off angle in this entire vehicle, exterior or interior. So it's pretty plain Jane. You can see we've got a rather tall gear shifter, e-brake. You've got your transfer case down here. We put in a US spec radio. The Japanese spec radios have a different frequency, and I believe it's, if I remember correctly, it's 70 megahertz to 90 megahertz, I believe. And so that allowed us to listen to the jazz channel, and that was it. So, hey, I like jazz, but not that much, right? So we did put a different stereo in there, some different speakers as well. I had to do a little customization to get all that to fit. But otherwise, you know, we're living on here over on the right-hand side of the vehicle, as you can plainly see. Your instrumentation is just like any other car. Some people ask, oh, being on the right side, are the pedals switched or anything? Pedals are not switched. Everything down here is the exact same. Now up here, it is switched. So on the left side, you've got your wipers. On the right side, you've got your turn signal indicators.
So it always screws us up.
I was going to say,
there's been many left turns that turn my wipers on.
Yeah, I'll bet.
So the pedals are the same. So the accelerator is on the far right, and the clutch is on the left. So what about shifting with your left hand instead of your right? I mean,
That's fun.
Yeah, that's a great question. So there were also a lot of 1 to 4 upshifts when you first start learning this. But, you know, you just kind of get used to it. The first time I ever drove a manual transmission right-hand drive was actually overseas in New Zealand, and it took some getting used to. And but, you know, it like anything else, it sort of becomes second nature. I will say the only thing that can be a little bit dicey is if you are alone on a two-way highway and you need to go around somebody. Luckily, we're not passing a whole lot of people in this thing.
Yeah,
so
you can't see around them.
Right,
Other
exactly.
than the occasional farm implement or dump truck or something like that, as long as you've got 2 passengers, then, you know, you have a spotter over here.
Wow.
But
Which is me.
Which is her.
Usually.
But you don't ever find yourself drifting over to the wrong lane, so you're on the left side, thinking that you're in on a Japanese road, huh?
Right. So that's actually a really good question. So when we first got our first van, which was right-hand drive, you had this tendency to hug the middle, right? Because we're on the other side of the vehicle. And so we had to make sure to consciously train our brains to hug the shoulder, not the middle, obviously, for safety reasons. So, but nowadays, it's not even a thing.
I always say, make sure your right shoulder as you're driving is along the side stripe of the road. So right stripe, right shoulder. And as long as you're close to that, that is usually what helps me quite a bit.
How often do you drive it?
Not enough.
we've got a few vehicles, and so we try to drive it every week, every other week, something like that. We try to start them every week, just because they're kind of old diesels and it's kind of cool here and whatnot. So we want to keep the fluids running through them, but we try to drive it regularly. We try to drive all of them regularly. We have 3 of these Japanese domestic market turbo diesel Mitsubishis. 2 of them are SUVs. One of them is currently on jacks as I'm rebuilding the front end, putting new ball joints and CV boots and stuff like that on it. But we try to drive them regularly. Don't like them sitting.
So have you brought your Delica to the Mitsubishi dealer, and what did they say?
This one we have not. But when we had our 89 Delica Star Wagon, we did bring it to the Mitsubishi dealership a couple of times, just because I was either getting parts for our other Mitsubishis or whatnot, and it always drew people out like, I'd go to the parts counter because some of these parts are interchangeable with U.S. stuff, Monteros or whatnot. And so I'd be picking up like an axle seal or something, and I'd come out and all the sales guys were around the van, and I'd get my key out and they're like, "Is this yours?" I said, "Yeah." Like, "Well, what is it?" Like, "It's Mitsubishi, but what is it?" And so I'd kind of have to go into, discussions about what it is, and without going too far down this Delica rabbit hole.
But we're already way past that.
The United States did get what they called the Mitsubishi van. Mitsubishi van was essentially a two-wheel drive Delica with a gas engine only and an automatic transmission only. So it was sold just for a few years up until 1990. And I remember as a kid, because we grew up with Mitsubishis, and I remember as a kid seeing them at the dealership and thinking, those rear seats swiveled even in the older ones. And I thought, man, that was cool. You could like sit backwards in the car. I mean, I never thought I'd own one, but so the U.S. did have some of the earlier two-wheel drive versions, but they were just called the van.
Yeah, but didn't they? You sat forward of the front axle in the originals, didn't you? So your legs were in the crumple zone.
Your legs were the crumple zone.
They were the airbags.
Yes, so the earlier Delicas all were a forward control vehicle. You sat atop the engine. To access the engine, you had to literally undo a couple of latches underneath the seats. Then the whole, both seats, which were mounted on, basically a platform, the whole thing went up, and you had to access just kind of like, sort of like the Toyota vans of the days, and even I suppose something like an old Ford Econoline or a Dodge A100, something like that. We had a ton of fun in that van. We took that all the way from the southern part of British Columbia all the way down to Arizona a couple of times. It was extremely slow. The L400s with the 2.8-liter turbo diesel compared to the L300 Star Wagons with the 2.5-liter turbo diesel, which was not intercooled. This will cruise at 75 miles an hour all day, no problem.
Once you get up to that speed.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not
as glacial.
Yeah, it's not as glacial as the old ones are, but it's also not going to win many drag races.
No,
So
maybe against a snail.
So that old one was kind of like a reverse tilt cab van or truck, except it was all done on the inside.
Yeah, very, very similar. Very similar.
You had to take all your stuff out of the center console and next to the seats, though, in order for you to lift the seat up, which was kind of a pain. So when traveling, we'd check the oil, but we'd have to clean out half the cab in order to check the oil.
Gosh.
A reverse
and
COE.
Like the master cylinder for that were on the dashboard. So you'd open the door, and then there was a panel that you accessed for the master cylinder. So there was a lot of really
weird,
quirky things with it, and it got a ton of attention just because it was so bizarre. And when we picked this up, we thought, people will just think it's
another
just
van,
like a Sienna or something like that. But I'll tell you what, the first place we stopped in Florida, it was about 98 degrees with about 100% humidity.
Oh, it was
I had stopped.
Pretty hot.
I was taking a sip of my Coke, and these guys, they're walking past, and you could just see them like looking at this van, and I looked up and they caught my eye, and they kind of gave me this like nod, like, that's cool, I think. It's like the caravan on BFGs or something. What is that?
But I think they also had like a lifted Cherokee. Didn't they have a Cherokee that was like on 37s or something? So yeah, they were from that crowd.
It definitely, even this one, which is not as 80s sci-fi looking as the last one, still gets plenty of attention and plenty of questions, especially, we actually, we were on the Oregon coast and sitting at a stoplight, and we see this gentleman next to us, and we can see him kind of gesturing. And
older guy.
Yeah, and so we roll down the window, and he yells at Mercedes. And says, "Why don't you let him drive?
Get off the phone."
And I'm like,
but wait a second, he is.
I'm over here.
He turned before I could reply, so it took me by surprise. He was actually accosting me because I was on my phone sitting in the passenger seat, and he thought I was driving.
Yeah.
How funny.
We've had all these kinds of things happen when you have a right-hand drive vehicle. We should get a fake steering wheel for the other side.
Yeah. Listen, we got somebody asking us about car insurance. Is that an issue?
Yeah, that's a great question.
It is an issue until you figure it out. Basically, I guess it was 2017 when we bought our first one, we signed the paperwork and we called State Farm and said, okay, we bought this
in the parking lot.
And they, after about a half hour on hold, they said, yeah, we can't insure that. And we went, uh-oh, this is something we hadn't thought about. So we very carefully drove it home and parked it until we figured out what to do. So what we do, because these aren't daily drivers, they are more
collectibles.
I guess, weekend.
They're for
weekend
event trips. Yeah.
Haggerty.
Exactly. We go through Haggerty on all three of our JDM four-wheel drives. And Haggerty does have some restrictions like mileage and whatnot, and that's fine because we're not daily driving these. These are our fun weekend cars. There are people, however, that do own these vans, and they do daily drive them. Apparently, Progressive will do that. I've heard.
Yeah, but they don't pay claims.
Yeah.
Neither one of them ever pay a claim, so that's okay. So.
And that's one of the things with Haggerty Insurance. With this one, we're probably one of the first. I mean, we know a few others now in the country that have this vehicle, the L400 or Space Gear, but it was only legal since last year. So Haggerty, this insurance for this particular model went a lot higher in price per year than our old one because they really don't know what to claim it against. They haven't had many crashes because it's only been allowed in the U.S. for a year and a half. Well, a year and 10 months now?
Yeah, but they've been great. The nice thing about them is, they don't even hesitate on agreed upon value. They ask you, what is it worth? And we tell them.
Right.
And every time we make a significant upgrade, we tell them, hey, we added,
increase the amount
$500 to the value of the car.
Yeah.
And they say, okay.
Yeah,
we haven't had to use them yet.
So I think you showed us the bumpers last time we had you on.
Yeah, can you give us another quick look at the outside?
Modifications of the bumpers.
You bet.
Be interesting to see how much those bumpers weighed compared to what you took off of it, because I can't imagine that thing's going to deal very well with a whole lot of.
And while you're doing that, I want to personally thank you for doing my pre-owned car vehicle of the week for next week. I do appreciate that.
So this is the front end of the vehicle. It's kind of dirty because we had it on the trail recently. This is a weld-together kit from a company called Coastal Off-Road. Coastal Off-Road is in British Columbia. And so it comes flat packed and it's all pickled metal. And so it's all ready to be welded together. So all the pieces are labeled. And then we had a great fab shop in Oregon City, Oregon called Wanderlust Overland. They welded this kit together. It has some options. So we have the bull bar up here, which helps to protect the grill. We have an integrated winch mount for our Warn winch down here. We have a skid plate as well, which is really critical because it helps protect both the oil pan, the oil filter, some of the critical bits as well. We've got some Light Force lights on the sides here, angled out to help monitor the ditches and whatnot. And then we have Light Force Venom 6-inch driving lights up on top here. So it lights up like a very, very bright Christmas tree. When we turn that stuff on.
I'll bet everybody with the Jeep Wrangler within 1,000 miles of you are going, oh, yeah, I want that.
NASA hasn't contacted us yet about seeing us from space, but I think we'll get there. So we've got the hood scoop up here. That's gonna feed the intercooler. I'll pop the hood real quick.
That's factory?
You can see underneath the hood.
That's factory?
The hood scoop is factory?
Yes, that's factory.
I love this thing.
So what kind of fuel economy have you gotten with this, especially in your ride back from Florida?
On the highway, we typically get maybe lower 20s, but when we came back from Florida, I think the highest was 26 or 20s. Yeah, about 25, 26. And the lowest we got was, I think, 17 and a half or something.
Who did the most driving coming back?
The person on the right.
I did most of the driving. Actually, I think I did almost all. No, Mercedes did some of the driving, too.
I did a good amount.
We both did some of it.
You did the majority, I think, because I ended up having to work on my laptop.
Yeah. So you can see top mount intercooler, 2.8-liter turbo diesel engine. It's a little crammed in here just because it's a van kind of style.
Yeah, but you know what? Let me just interject this. The one thing that I see about the whole thing, you can tell that you guys take baby care of this thing and have got it all cleaned up, because you know as well as I do that thing was not that way when you bought it.
You know what? I have to say, shout out to Car Automotive in Fort Myers, Florida, who we bought this from. This thing, you could have eaten off it. He did such an amazing job detailing it.
He had it, yeah. He had it detailed and cleaned.
I think it looks dirty right now, but we do use it. We use it on the trails. We use it we get it dirty. So, but we do really try to keep up on all this stuff, you know, ounce of prevention kind of thing. So we try to keep everything up. We keep up on oil changes, keeping everything clean, all that stuff. The only thing I need to do right now is I do need to replace the expansion tank on the cooling system. It's just it's sort of a known pain point. So I bought another one. That's another question we get asked all the time is about parts. So where do you get an air filter for a Mitsubishi 4M40 turbo diesel never sold in the United States? This one, I do have to get parts from
Amazon.
You know what?
Sometimes.
Amazon is a great resource. I actually couldn't find this one on Amazon, but I was able to find it on a website called PartsSouq, and that is PartsSouq. And I believe they're based in the UK. And the parts are really a great price, but then you do have to pay a fair bit of shipping. So it's kind of a good idea to try to get a whole bunch of stuff at one time. So I ordered a few air filters, that expansion tank. I think I ordered a couple other bits as well. But because of Canada has the same import rule we do, except it's 10 years earlier. So Canada has 15 years versus 25 years. So that means things like this have been up in Canada for 10 years before they've been here. These vans are extremely popular in Canada, especially Western Canada, British Columbia. And so there are shops up in British Columbia that specialize in nothing but Mitsubishi Delicas.
Road trip.
Yeah,
road trip.
So Coombs County Auto up on Vancouver Island, for instance, I buy a bunch of things from them. I just bought some glow plugs, thermostat. And so shipping's not too bad.
Andy, Mercedes, I don't mean to cut you short, but we're running short on time. But I wanted to ask you guys one thing before we let you go. Have you guys ever been up to Rust Valley Restores?
I was thinking the same thing.
No, I've not heard of them.
Okay, it's a show. It's a show that's on Netflix, and it's about this crazy guy up there, and I can't remember the location. It's out in the sticks.
It's in Armstrong, isn't it?
It's in Armstrong, British Columbia. I think that's what it is. Look it up, Rust Valley Restores, because I think that your next assignment is going to be to go up there and research him and his show called Rust Valley Restores. Look it up on Netflix. I think that you'll really appreciate it. He's a car geek like all of us are.
They will go there.
Oh, awesome.
We'll add it to our queue.
All right. Well, hey, it's always great to talk to you guys. Thanks so much for joining.
Thanks for having us again.
Thanks for getting up, and you guys can now get out of your outerwear and get back inside where the PJs are good for today.
Put that coffee on.
We need to go back to sleep. It's just past dawn.
Happy holidays.
That's it. We love you guys. Thank you.
Happy holidays to you guys.
All right. Bye, guys.
Andy and Mercedes Lillienthal with the Mitsubishi Delica.
Cool
It
truck.
is awesome.
Just a cool truck.
I know. I can't get enough of it.
And you could tell their passion for the vehicle. You know, they really love what they're driving.
It's not one-sided. They both are. They're both equally into this.
Well, it's all right-sided.
Oh, well.
I don't know.
That's fascinating.
I don't know if I could shift with my left.
Yeah,
hand.
that was kind of what I wanted to see, how it was set up, and it's set up kind of like I thought it would be, but just the coordination factor of adjusting from a right hand shifting to a left, particularly with a 5-speed.
Yeah. Well, my son lived in Australia, and they drive on the wrong side of the road there, and they have right-hand drive vehicles.
My daughter Laura lived in Italy,
and you have to shift with your left hand, so that was a real experience for him. But yeah, cool couple, cool truck. You know, it's we'll have them on again sometime in the future. Shout out to Wade Stoddart. You know, we saw your comments about Parts Q and your Delica that you've had for 10 years because you live in Canada.
Well,
nice. Yeah.
So
Thank you for tuning in.
They had some of their followers tune into the show. We appreciate that as well.
Well, remember me telling you about Carlos Ghosn, the expatriate?
The gift that keeps giving.
It does. Well, Carlos is under investigation now in France for possible tax evasion during his last 3 years heading Renault and Nissan, according to a person familiar with the matter. Spokeswoman for Ghosn declined to comment. Tax probe adds to Ghosn's legal woes in France, where authorities are already investigating his role in expenses covered by Renault and Dutch subsidiary that oversaw its alliance with Nissan. Ghosn was arrested in Tokyo 2 years ago and accused of financial deeds.
And escaped in the luggage.
Including underreporting his compensation at Nissan. He's denied the charges and escaped last year to Lebanon in a music box.
Those three houses in South America weren't his.
Yeah.
They were his wife's.
I think he's going to be a permanent resident of Lebanon.
I think so, too. We talked to the Sylvania headlight guy.
Right.
Well, in efforts by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety to strengthen criteria to receive its top safety awards have led automakers to improve the headlights on some 2021 vehicles, including the Audi A7, Honda Accord, Hyundai Palisade, Mazda CX-30. If you're into highlights,
HIDs.
yeah, then check out those cars. There's a whole list of them out there. And Fiat Chrysler plans to spend $150 million to set up a global technology center in the southern Indian city of Hyderabad. Let me hear it, Jeff.
Hyderabad?
What?
Send your comments to info.
What's the problem?
Come on, Jeff. Give it to us.
Come on.
We need more Jeff.
Coward.
Center will create nearly 1,000 jobs and will focus on development for future mobility in areas such as connected vehicles, artificial intelligence, data science, and cloud technology. Just saying. Jeff is turning 3 shades of red over there, and I don't quite understand why.
So you heard that the CEO of Toyota called EVs overhyped as a huge mismatch in cost versus goals for the industry.
Didn't hear that.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was pretty funny.
It's one of those
from Toyota, who sells the Prius and has for generations now.
Yeah.
Who started all of this?
You're going to speak now?
Yeah, I did.
He is now.
He's gonna speak.
Oh, now he's going to speak. Okay. Well, I have to tell you that it has certainly been a fun December 19th show.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Happy
absolutely.
birthday to you.
All
Happy
three of you.
birthday, Don and Konrad. Well, I'm singing to myself.
And Mike
Happy
coming up.
birthday to you. And Mars coming up as a Christmas Eve baby.
Well, that's it for this episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. Hey, when you're on Facebook, please give us a like, tell your friends about us, and share our junk. You'll get Konrad's unicorn hunting features along with all things automotive all week long.
As we shake your hand and say goodbye.
The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and on InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available on Pandora, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcast, Google Podcast, and Podcast Addict, amongst others. Special thanks to all of our guests today. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is the fabulous David Ainsly. Our video sales and marketing man is Jeffrey Zekin. This week's In Wheel Time Car Show is produced and directed by
Suze.
He didn't think of that until the words come out of his mouth.
Came out of my mouth.
For booking agent and podcast man Mike Out of This World Mars and his royalty King Konrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong saying so long for now. And we will see you on our next live show beginning at 8 a.m. next Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11, our new hours right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. Thanks for being part of the In Wheel Time family. Mask up, stay healthy, and we'll see you next week.